Well, well, well. You hear the music in the background, but we are live. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys After Dark. If you don't catch this tonight, you'll catch it sometime in the AM or sometime tomorrow in the PM, but nevertheless, let's go. So tonight, it is Cowboys After Dark. And we got a few topics on the last two live streams we have not been able to get through. So we're going to get through those tonight. And again, as you come in, if you come in tonight, please like as you come in, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time I post another video or I go live, because sometimes I go live after dark. And I'm not talking about regular after dark like some channels. I'm talking about the real after dark. We talking 11:30 to 2 o'clock in the morning. So again, as you come in, hit that like button. Subscribe if you already haven't. Man, we got a lot of great things coming. So tonight, I'm going to be changing some of these right here on the fly because I didn't have time. I'm really busy on Wednesday night, but I just said I want to just do Cowboys After Dark for my late night folk. So tonight, we will be talking about Trevon Diggs. And the question is Trevon Diggs done? We're going to be talking about Jack Jones. It looks like the Las Vegas Raiders are trying to shake Jack Jones. And it's funny to me that every time somebody is trying to shake a player, first name come up. The Cowboys are tied to him. The Cowboys are tied to him. Stop it. The Cowboys can't be tied to everybody because they become free. And again, we're going to talk about the Cowboys power rank. We'll see if I can. I had the link. Make sure I can find it. And then we got Overshown gets 0. And the Overshown thing is so funny to me because, man, I was looking at some of the comments on X. And I'm going to see if I can find some tonight. I mean, this is Cowboys After Dark, man. We could clown a little bit on Cowboys After Dark. There was, man, some of the comments up under the Mario and Overshown getting that 0 or that 0 jersey. Boy, y'all gonna laugh when y'all see the amount of Cowboy haters that took the opportunity to just make all kinds of crazy jokes. I just gotta be honest. I couldn't help but laugh because people are so crazy. And then we'll see if we can talk a little bit about Sadiq Charles. Our neighborhood video man, Matty Dubs, did a couple of things on him. And we're gonna look at a piece of his video. And in the future, I'm gonna see about getting Matty Dubs on the show, man. I'm gonna contact Matty Dubs and see if he wouldn't mind coming on the show and doing some talking about some players. I mean, man, Matty Dubs be doing his thing, man. He really does. But again, Trevon Diggs. We want to talk about Trevon Diggs. Jack Jones. Cowboys power rank. Overshown gets 0. Sadiq Charles. And I'll look at some other things too to fill up some of the time because, excuse me, we're going to talk Cowboys tonight. So let's get a quick roll call. Yep. And then we're going to get started. Yeah, y'all know what we do. Let's go. Hoodie Kush 81, what's up? Yeah, I'm going with the late night boy. Hey, Hoodie Kush. This the real late night stream right here, man. This is late night. Yeah, D-Well, yes, sir. Good to see you tonight. Late night vibes. My man, Daniel Lim, what's going on with you? Yeah, it's late night tonight. Dwight Hughes, let's go. Cowboys fan forever. Yes. Otis Mays, we in here, G. What up with you? The Oak Cliff Rockefeller, yes, sir. He said, why them likes not coming up when you click on it? Yes, sir. Y'all get them likes up. We need them likes to match the number of people in here. Yep. My man, Timothy Govey, what's up? What would it take Jerry to sign Trey Henderson? Boy, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Boy, that Trey Hendrickson, man, I gotta agree with you, Timothy. Boy, that might be a Charles Haley type edition right there, man. Him opposite of Micah Parsons? Man, Michael Parsons playing with the ball head this year? Man. Boy, we be nasty up in this thing, man. Yes, sir. Got to bring cows off of that over jersey. Man, I'm telling you, many people had me laughing. Oak Cliff Rockefeller, he said, G must be feeling good. Hey, man, I tell you what, I'm tired. But again, I got to put in work for Cowboy Nation. Yes, sir. All right, let's get this thing going. Daniel M.G., Teddy 12, I'm taking it. Henderson at 44, I'm taking it. Man, you can name anybody you want to with the third if they get that top two. Collins at 76. Hey, I roll with it. I will roll with it. I'm just telling you, man, the Cowboys got so many opportunities. They got so many opportunities in this thing, man. That they got so many opportunities coming up in this draft. It is insanity to me. So many opportunities coming up in this draft. Big Mace, 1984. Man, what's up, man? What up with you? Man, you know what's going on. It's God, family, and the Cowboys. That's how we roll. That is how we roll. So, let's get this thing started, man, on this first topic with Trevon Diggs. Because, man, this thing with Trevon Diggs, let me tell you, this is very interesting. Here we go. Samuel Madrano, what it do? What it do? Yes, sir. Go Cowboys. I'm with you. This thing with Trevon Diggs, y'all. This thing with Trevon Diggs is absolutely crazy. I really want to see how this turns out. Trevon Diggs, if he's listening, and I'm going to be doing some changes right here on the fly. Y'all hold on a second. I'm gonna change these right here on the fly. Hold on. Let's get to our first topic. Be changing stuff on the fly. Didn't get a chance to update my slides, so we're going to update this one slide on the fly. Trevon Diggs. Is Trevon Diggs done? Because the Cowboys, in a sense, if you pay attention to how this Trevon Diggs contract, I've already shown y'all Trevon Diggs contract, and let's just pull it up again. Man, let me tell you, the Cowboys, because of what's going on with Diggs and the injury, and it seemed like Diggs has been struggling with injuries. Y'all notice who they brought in? They brought in Kaiir Elam. That's who they brought in. They're hoping that he's going to be they're hoping that he literally shapes up to be a number one draft pick. He's not a nickel cornerback. They want Kaiir Elam to play on the outside. They're not looking at him as a nickel cornerback. They're not looking at him as a nickel cornerback. They are looking at this dude. They are literally looking at him as, okay, can this dude ball? Can he play? Because if he can play, the Cowboys are probably going to walk away from Trevon Diggs. When you look at Trevon Diggs' contract, now, let me tell you what happened with Trevon Diggs with the Cowboys. And this is why I say this is probably going to be his last season. The Cowboys were very smart in how they did Trevon Diggs' contract. He's pretty much got a lot of his money up front. They haven't went in here and did a lot of touching of Trevon Diggs' money. And if you look at the way they kind of did Trevon Diggs' contract, it seemed like they were already kind of anticipating that if he didn't turn out, they could get rid of him. And so at the end, we were in the 2025 season. It's set up to go. It's set up to go. And a lot of people are wondering if they may even cut him now. I mean, if they might just cut him this year, don't even let him come. But I don't think they'll do that. I think they're going to let him rehab fully, see what he looks like, and I will not be surprised if the Cowboys trade him. I will not be surprised if the Cowboys trade Trevon Diggs. His contract is set up perfectly for the Cowboys to say thanks but no thanks. And his, as the saying goes, the best ability is availability. So you can tell by the way they're saying things, like the draft of people have been talking about the Cowboys could go cornerback. Well, I'm just telling you, man, if Carson develops, they're talking about Easy may even be able to play some nickel corner, but I think the Cowboys are going to try to go in the draft and get them a nickel corner. I'm telling y'all, if Kyer Elam come in here balling, I got a feeling Trevon Diggs is done. Just because of the way the contract, potential out. 2025. This is probably going to be Trevon Diggs last year. I'll be shocked if Trevon Diggs continues to be with the Dallas Cowboys. I will. I will be absolutely shocked. There is no way. When you look at Trevon Diggs, 2026, Trevon Diggs, his base salary, $14 million. Signing bonus, $2.9 million. Roster bonus, $1 million. And then you look at the cap hit of $18 million. It ain't happening. I don't believe it's going to happen. The next year, it goes up even more, $23 million cap hit. It gets up even more, $21 million. It goes to $21 million. He will not see 2028. He will not see 2027. I'll be shocked if he sees 2026. Now, what wound up guaranteeing, if I'm not mistaken, what wound up guaranteeing his 2025 season was the fact that he got injured. Because in some of these superstar contracts, they put these clauses in there that if these guys get hurt, the next year is guaranteed. This is one of the reasons why when the Cowboys had Jalen Smith and when the Cowboys were ready to get rid of Jalen Smith, the next time they got rid of him because Jalen Smith got him, if I'm not mistaken, the year they probably would have got rid of him a year earlier. But Jalen Smith got him because Jalen Smith wound up having some kind of weird surgery and he got that next year guaranteed. The Cowboys said, nah, we won't do that again. Then the Cowboys said, we won't do that again. And so the Cowboys wound up, once he got healed and then he got back on the field a little bit, the Cowboys towards the end was like, no, they went ahead and got rid of him because they were not going to guarantee him another season. And so again with Trevon Diggs gets up to speed and they see that Trevon Diggs is good enough. I will not be surprised if the Cowboys try to trade Trevon Diggs at the trade deadline. Because again, the Cowboys are taking a serious chance because if Trevon Diggs plays, and he probably won't play until, I would say, close to midseason maybe. Mess around and let Trevon Diggs get on that field again. Man, he gets something as simple as a wrist injury. 2026 will be guaranteed too. I don't think the Cowboys are going to try to pay 2026. I think they're going to try to do 2025, and they're going to try to be done with Trevon Diggs. And the draft is playing against Trevon Diggs. Kyer Elam is playing against Trevon Diggs. Excuse me. There are a couple of articles, and this one on Blogging the Boys. I thought this was very interesting. Check out this article on Blogging the Boys. It says, 4 Cowboys with a lot to lose in the upcoming draft. And the name that's on here first, cornerbacks Trevon Diggs and Deron Bland. Now, Deron Bland, I think he's going to be okay. But the thing about Deron Bland, let's think about Deron Bland. Deron Bland has been hurt. And if I were the Cowboys, I would actually be trying to get Deron Bland done early. Because there's nothing, the year he had previously is one thing. But the year he had this year, man, this is really when you want to start negotiating and start trying to get guys signed if you can. Why wait and let Deron Bland come back and have a killer season? Deron Bland come back and have a killer season, everything's going to be okay. But, and I'm sure because Steven has already mentioned him, he's already mentioned Ferguson, He's probably going to try to start working on them at the end of the season. But if I was him, I'd be trying to work on them now and see how cheap I could get them, because the Cowboys got Ty Smith. Ty Smith is coming on really well. The Cowboys need to jump in front of these contracts so they don't be doing no more of this Micah Parsons nonsense. But you look at this, what they say about Diggs. This is crazy. It says it is widely projected that Dallas will target a cornerback in this draft. A cornerback early in this draft, even as high as the first round. I don't think that's happening, but I think Kaiir Elam took care of that. But I'm not going to be surprised if it's the third or the fifth. It says the higher the investment, the more likely it is that the Cowboys are preparing to move on from one of their high-profile veterans. I can tell you now, if the Cowboys go third round cornerback, I'm even saying if they go third round cornerback, Diggs is done. Diggs is done if they go third round. It says, look, Diggs is coming off 2 tough years wrecked by his 2023 injury. After his 11 interception season in 2021, he remained an excellent overall corner, but then got injured in week 2 of the 2023 season. While he did return to play in 11 games last year, Diggs was clearly still not all the way back. There was also talk that the team was not happy with how he approached his medical care and rehab, potentially limiting him in 2025 as well. I'm telling y'all, I will not be shocked. It is really, y'all think about this. It is really in the Cowboys' interest that Kaiir Elam is off the chart. It is really in their best interest. Because if you can get Trevon Diggs back healthy, you may be able to get a draft pick for Trevon Diggs and don't even let him touch the field. At least not for you. Trade him. Trade Trevon Diggs. He has had serious knee problems, and now they're talking about this bone-on-bone issue. They're talking about this special procedure. And if they were not happy with the rehab he did last year, well, who is he going to this year? I mean, I would really like to know all this. I think Trevon Diggs is in trouble. I do. I think Trevon Diggs is in trouble. And I really think they're going to be seriously considering that Trevon Diggs doesn't touch the field again. And it would be in their best interest. Because if Trevon Diggs steps on that field again and Diggs get hurt, you got another guaranteed year for him, and where he won't be playing. Skull Unknown, he said, man, it seems like we had so many good players. Now, I love what you're saying, Skull. Let me add what you're saying. We haven't won anything. This is, whether we accept it or not, Skull, this is one of the main problems that we've had. We've been able to accumulate players. We have failed. Jerry Jones has failed at putting together a solid team. We have not put anything together that remotely resembles what the Eagles have done. We have not remotely done that during Tony Romo's tenure, during Dak Prescott's tenure. When you think about the Philadelphia Eagles, that is a copycat of the Dallas Cowboys. That is a copycat of the 90s Cowboys. Howie Roseman figured out a way in 2022 through 24 to put together a 90s Cowboys, 90s San Francisco 49ers type of team. He went out, he looked at what they did wrong in the 2022 Super Bowl. It took him 2 years. It took him 2 years, Skull Unknown. It took him 2 years to put together the kind of roster that could go and beat Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl. It took him 2 years. We haven't remotely done this. And we're good. Again, we're good at getting players. We're not good at teams. Jerry hasn't been good at teams. Jerry can get you the DeMarcus Wares. Yeah, Jerry get them for you. Jerry can get you those types. He'll get you the DeMarcus Wares, where DeMarcus Ware has to go somewhere else to win a Super Bowl. He'll hit you every so often with a splash player. He'll get you a Terrell Owens, like he did with Tony Romo. He'll get you that Terrell Owens. He'll get you those type of players. But where he fails is where Jimmy helped him succeed. See, when you look at the 90s Cowboys, and the Herschel Walker trade didn't hurt it any, they were not only able to get all-pro players, the Cowboys were able to get bona fide role players to play with those players. And let me give you a prime example of bona fide role players. Daryl Johnston. Daryl Johnston. Daryl Johnston was an extension of the offensive line. Daryl Johnston. If you were to look at Daryl Johnston's stats on their own, you would be like, what did he do? But if you look at Daryl Johnston on tape, and you look at Daryl Johnston on tape during the 91 through 95 or 92 through 95 season, you look at Daryl Johnston on tape and you understand Daryl Johnston was priceless. Daryl Johnston went a long way towards helping Emmitt Smith to achieve some of the things that he achieved. That's Daryl Johnston. The Cowboys were always able. They were not, a lot of people do not understand, the Cowboys were not just the triplets. The Cowboys are what you would probably call the true triplets right now, and we're calling Michael Parsons one of them. But when you think about the Dallas Cowboys triplets, man, you're missing the boat. The Dallas Cowboys were not Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. Them boys were loaded. Cowboys were loaded. Offensive line, Daryl Johnston, guys like Alvin Harper. People don't remember some of one of the wide receivers. I think his name was Kevin Smith. I mean, when you think about some of the Cowboys rosters, you will understand what I'm telling you, that what Jerry has failed at miserably. Jerry has not been able to build teams. He's not been able to build teams. He's been able to put together. He's been able to put together these, you can look at the Cowboys, you can go down the line. You can go down the line on each year, and there'll be players that they'll just absolutely stand out. But then you'll look at other players and you'll go, who's that? You're wondering like who these players are. And the player I said Kevin Smith. I'm sorry, he was the cornerback. I meant Kevin Williams. Let me just show you the Cowboys. Let me show you what they were able to do. And then let me see if I can pull up another season. Because you really asked a great question. I'm going to show you something here, Skull Unknown. I'm going to answer a question for you. I'm going to show you how I know what I'm talking about. So I want you to look at this Cowboy roster. I want y'all to look at this Dallas Cowboys roster. This is the 1992 Cowboys. 13-3. First in the NFC East. Coach, of course, was Jimmy Johnson. They won the divisional round, of course, against the Philadelphia Eagles, the conference championship against the 49ers, the Super Bowl against the Buffalo Bills. The offensive coordinator was Norv Turner. I got news for y'all. We have not had an OC better than Norv Turner. Teams are not just the players. We have not had an OC better than Norv Turner. This was Norv Turner heydays. They brought in Norv Turner to fix Troy Aikman. See, a lot of y'all don't remember this stuff. Troy Aikman was a turnover machine. Norv Turner came in and fixed him. Norv Turner came in and fixed him. And the way Norv Turner came in and fixed him was Norv Turner installed a running game that was second to none. I want you to look at this. Look at these players. Troy Aikman. Now, if you look at Troy Aikman's stats, we would kill Dak Prescott for these stats. He was 302 for 473. Let that sink in. 302 for 473. He was only 3,445 yards. 23 touchdowns. 23 touchdowns. 14 interceptions. We would kill Dak Prescott for 14 interceptions. We would absolutely destroy Dak Prescott for 14 interceptions. 37 rushes for 105 yards and 1 touchdown. That was Troy Aikman. You know why you didn't worry about that? You want to know what Emmitt Smith did in 1992? Emmitt Smith was 373 rushes for 1,713 yards. Emmitt Smith was exactly right in what he was explaining in that interview when he was on the ticket. The Cowboys did not build their offense around Troy Aikman. Contrary to what people think, they built the offense around Emmitt Smith and that offensive line. That's who they built it around. Man, tell me you wouldn't love to have a running back getting 18 touchdowns in a season. 18 touchdowns, 59 catches for 335 yards and 1 touchdown. Look at this. You know what Daryl Johnston was? He was a role player. Daryl Johnston was a role player, but he was a heck of a role player. Look at this. Let me show you some stuff. Troy Aikman, Pro Bowl. You're going to find out something about Troy Aikman. As much as we tout Troy Aikman, you have to understand the team was not built around Troy Aikman. He wasn't getting all these first-team All-Pros. He wasn't doing that stuff. Pro Bowls, yes. Other stuff, no. No. Only thing Troy Aikman was leading in is Super Bowls. That's the only thing he was leading in. And he was leading in those things because of the team. They didn't build the team around him. They built the team around this running game, Emmitt Smith. You know how I know they built this running game around Emmitt Smith? Daryl Johnston is a role player. Look at these stats. Who in their right minds would have a fullback who only ran the ball 17 times, 61 yards, 32 catches for 249 yards and 2 touchdowns? What team would have that fullback as a fullback? The 92 Cowboys. Because his job was not to be one of the rushers. His job was to be the leading blocking back for Emmitt Smith. That was his job. You notice? No Pro Bowl. Let me show you something else, Skull Unknown. I'm going to show y'all the difference between building a team and being top heavy. The Cowboys, Jerry always wants to get the stars, but he doesn't build the teams the way Jimmy helped him build them. Alvin Harper. This is Alvin Harper, if I'm not mistaken. This is rookie season. Alvin Harper was a role player. Alvin Harper was a role player. Alvin Harper only had 35 catches, but they were humongous yards, 562 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown for 15 yards. Alvin Harper was a role player. Let that sink in. Alvin Harper. Alvin Harper was a role player. This is what Jimmy did. Look at Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin, 4 for 14, 78 catches, 1,396 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 rush, -9. I mean, I'm telling you, they had role players. Look at this. Jay Novacek, 38 years old. Jay Novacek, Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro, 68 catches, 630 yards, 6 touchdowns. That wouldn't even get you there today. But Jay Novacek was an absolute beast. He was a chain mover. Look at this. Look at their offensive line. Mark Tuinei at this time, 32 years of age. Look at the line. Nate Newton, 31 years of age. Center, Mark Stepnoski, 25. Right guard, John Gesick, 29 years old. Eric Williams, 24 years old. This was the Dallas Cowboys. And do you notice something? Watch this. Let me show you how good Jimmy was at picking teams. Look on their offense. Look how many Pro Bowlers they have. They have 6 Pro Bowlers on their offense. The other 5 guys, look at them. Eric Williams will go on to be a Pro Bowler. They got John Gesick. Mark Tuinei was an absolute monster, but he's not a Pro Bowler. Alvin Harper, not a Pro Bowler. Darryl Johnson, not a Pro Bowler. But you look at this lineup, it's second to none. It's second to none. That's how good of an offense they put together, and not around Troy Aikman. They put that offense around Emmitt Smith. The Dallas Cowboys, in actuality, were not a Troy Aikman-led team as it applies to the field. The Dallas Cowboys, they ran, they moved, they controlled both sides of the line of scrimmage. That's what the Dallas Cowboys did. They were predicated upon their run game. That was the Dallas Cowboys. We have turned Dak Prescott into something he was never meant to be. Can Dak Prescott sling the rock? It's obvious. Dak Prescott can sling the rock. He can put up stats. He can win games. But the kind of teams that the Dallas Cowboys have put together around Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, I'm sorry, those are regular season teams. They're not playoff teams. I don't care who that makes mad. Those are not playoff teams. We're not built. Our teams have not been built for deep playoff runs. You need more than one wide receiver. Anybody remember the wide receiver that was opposite of Dez Bryant? You can hardly remember him. You can hardly remember him. They didn't do Michael Irvin like that. Alvin Harper was a monster. Alvin Harper was a monster wide receiver. He absolutely was. You look at the defensive starters. Look at this. Tony Tolbert, Tony Casillas, Russell Maryland, Charles Haley. What? This defensive line was crazy. This dude, and you notice, man, let me tell you something. This dude right here, Russell Maryland, was crazy. Russell Maryland was absolutely crazy. Russell Maryland went on to be a beast. Charles Haley was a beast. Tony Casillas, Tony Tolbert, they were absolute beasts. They were. Linebackers, Vincent Smith, Robert Jones. He was a rookie. Ken Norton Jr., absolute monster. Left cornerback, Isaac Holt. Right cornerback, Larry Brown. And let me tell you something about this safety. The Cowboys had a safety by the name of James Washington. Let me tell you something. James Washington would literally knock your head off. James Washington would knock your head off. And it's strange, isn't it? Let me show you something again, Skull Unknown. I want us all to understand this. Look at their defense. Now, these asterisks up here are Pro Bowlers. These asterisks are Pro Bowlers and first team All-Pro. Isn't it strange? The Cowboys had one of the top defenses in the NFL. They didn't have not one Pro Bowler on defense. Explain that to me. See, Skull Unknown, you've fallen victim to the same thing a lot of us have fallen victim to. We will look at people talking about, the Cowboys, how do they not win? They have 9 Pro Bowlers. They have 6 All-Pros and blah, blah, blah. But they don't have teams. Show me, Skull Unknown. Anybody in the chat, show me on the Cowboys defense. They won the Super Bowl with this defense. Show me where the Pro Bowler is. Show them to me. Show me the first team All-Pro. Show me the second team All-Pro. Show them to me. How did this defense achieve what none of the Cowboys defenses have achieved since the 95-96 season. None of them have achieved what this defense achieved. Look at the age range of these guys. 25, 29, 23, 28, 27. Robert Jones, 23. Ken Norton, 26. Isaac Holt, 30. Larry Brown, 23. Everett, 28. James Washington, 27. Not one Pro Bowler on that defense. Somebody explain it to me. How did the Cowboys pull this off? How did the Cowboys pull it off? See, we have been hoodwinked. We think because we have Pro Bowlers and All Pros. Man, we've had so many great players. We haven't had not one. This is the problem. We do not understand what I keep telling us. We have not had, when you look at the standards of what the Cowboys have called great teams in Super Bowl past, we have not had one great team. We have not had one team that can compare to that 1992 team. Not one. Let me pull up something else for us. Hey, man, this Cowboys after dark. Boy, we can do whatever we want to do. Let me show you something. I got time. Let me show you something, Skull Unknown. I'm going to drop nothing but megaton bomb facts tonight. I'm going to drop megaton bomb facts tonight. I want you to read this. And if you don't read it, I'm going to read it to you. Listen to this. Let me show you this. Skull Unknown. Anybody in the chat, show me one Pro Bowler on the defense of the 1992 Cowboys. Y'all show them to me. Y'all show me one. Show me one. I'm going to give y'all time. Show me one. Show me one. Show me one. Let me go on here and get some more greetings into to my people, to Cowboys Nation. What's going on? That man Mike Tyree in here. Oh, man, Michael Tyree. He says some of these amateurs don't understand how dominant the 90 Cowboys were with a dominant coach, Michael Tyree. You ever heard that old saying? They're going to learn tonight. They're going to learn tonight. Let me tell you something. They're going to learn tonight. I'm finna drop nothing but megaton bombs up in here. Megaton bombs. We finna drop some megaton bombs, and we still gonna stay on. We still gonna stay on this thing. Big Mace, said, call me skeptical, but I have faith in Shotty. I do too. Hey, we about to drop megaton bombs. My man Poopy D in here. He got my back tonight. I ain't worried about nothing. I got Poopy D in here. Let me show y'all something. And this ain't no shot at you either, Skull Unknown. I'm just going to show us some things that people do not understand about the Dallas Cowboys. We get fooled because we keep hearing how many Pro Bowlers the Cowboys had on a certain team, how many all-pro players they had on a certain team. I'm going to show you what a team looked like. I'm going to show you what a team looked like because you'll find it to be fascinating that teams that actually win, man, you'll find out something. They don't be having all that dumb. They don't be having all the individual accolades. They're too busy playing as a team. Boy, I'm about to show you something fascinating. Y'all look at this. Look. They didn't have not one Pro Bowler on defense. Not one All-Pro on defense. Y'all ready for this? The 1992 Dallas Cowboys defense ranked number 1 in the NFL in total defense. How'd they pull it off? How'd they do it? Tell me how they did it. The Cowboys had not one Pro Bowler on defense. Tell me how they did it. Tell me how they did it with not one first-team All-Pro player on defense. Y'all tell me how they did it. It says they allowed an average of 245.8 yards per game. Don't tell me we've had defenses around Dak Prescott. Don't tell me that. You want to tell me that we've had defenses in front of Dak Prescott, opposite of Dak Prescott, because you're going by the inflated numbers. Cowboys ain't never been this good. They've never had a dominant defense, not like these 90s defenses. Explain to me, they led the league in rushing defense and fewest first downs allowed. Sound familiar? Y'all know who else did something similar? The Philadelphia Eagles. They were number one against the run. The Philadelphia Eagles. Look at this. Their secondary was ranked 5th in passing defense. Explain to me, how do you do that with no All-Pros? No Pro Bowlers, no All-Pros. They were a dominant unit. You see what I keep trying to explain to us? We've never had a dominant defense like this with Tony Romo and Dak Prescott. We've never had that defense, and we're lying to ourselves. I told y'all there's a difference in good and dominant, a difference between good and elite. We have not been elite with Dak Prescott. We have not been elite with Tony Romo. We have not. They were the dominant unit. No player from this defense was named to the Pro Bowl. We want to be a bunch of stars now. We want to be a bunch of stars. But we don't have teams. We don't. Look at this. Look at this. The Cowboys defense was a key factor in their 13-3 regular season record, Super Bowl victory. See, y'all think this is about Troy Aikman. Y'all think this is about Troy Aikman. It's not. It's not about Troy Aikman. We're wrong on this. Super Bowl 27 victory. They were known for their speed, depth, and young starters. The defense produced a Super Bowl record 9 turnovers in Super Bowl 27. You want to know how they scored 52 points? Who gonna beat you if you can produce 9 turnovers? Who gonna beat you? Who gonna beat you? 9 turnovers in 1 Super Bowl. We have not had dominant teams. I'm telling you, y'all don't know what dominant is. If you're telling me you believe that the Cowboys have had a defense that the Cowboys can win with, you don't want man, I'm sorry. You do not understand what dominant is. And the only reason we talk this talk of Dak has had good teams. He's had great teams. You don't know, you don't know what a great team is. This is a great team. This is a number 1 defense in football with no Pro Bowlers. We've been hoodwinked. We think that in order for you, because we've had multiple Pro Bowlers on, who cares? Good players aren't good enough. I need a good defense. I don't need good players on a defense that's not good. Michael Parsons ain't good enough by himself. Trevon Diggs ain't good enough without a defensive line that can get pressure on the quarterback. Trevon Diggs ain't good enough if they can't stop the run. Trevon Diggs ain't good enough if the linebackers can't cover. Trevon Diggs ain't good enough if the safeties can't cover. What are we talking about? We have not. Let me tell you something. If Dak Prescott can play in a playoff game and his defense get 9 turnovers, man, y'all do not hear what I'm telling y'all, man. Y'all don't hear what I'm telling you. This doggone Cowboys defense in 1992 was sick with it. And we are running around here talking about, yeah, man, Dak done had good defenses. No, good defenses by our standards, not by championship standards. This is the type of defense that wins championships. Let me show you this again. Not 1 Pro Bowler on this defense. Look at all these young guys. Man, the Cowboys, boy, y'all do not understand what Jimmy put together. Jimmy did not put together a cast of, he didn't put together a cast of just top-heavy stars. No, they had role players. And they had serious role players. They did. Them boys was out there getting busy, man. Them boys was out there getting busy. Oak Cliff Rockefeller, he said, Jerry loves skilled players' names. And Shotty like we need impact players. And this is what Jimmy did. This is what Jimmy did. Man, let me tell you, I got to bring us back to reality. I got to bring us back to reality. I told y'all today, when Emmitt Smith is talking, the way he's talking about, and this is one of his frustrations, because he was saying the Cowboys don't need to get Ashton Genty unless they're going to commit to running the ball. If they're not going to commit to running the ball and building that offense around his skill set and letting Dak Prescott play off that with the play action, they're going to have a hard time winning. Dak Prescott, just like Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman needed a run game bad. Troy Aikman needed a run game bad. He did. Troy Aikman needed it bad. Absolute bad. He did. And again, Trevon Diggs, you think about Trevon Diggs. Trevon Diggs, he's not enough either. Trevon Diggs is not enough. And just because you say, hey, man, we've had good players, we haven't had good teams. JB, the Cowboy fan, he said the defense in 2021 and 2022 held the Niners to 23. No. JB, did you not hear what I just said? The 1992 Cowboys got 9 turnovers. Did you not hear what I said? They got 9 turnovers in one Super Bowl. And when we went against the Niners, you can't even compare what I'm telling you. Those teams were nowhere close to what I just showed you. They were nowhere close to what I just showed you. We have not had the firepower of one Troy Aikman with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. And the defense in 2021 holding the Niners to 23-19, bro, that's not enough. That's not enough. That's not what you do. That is not what dominant defenses do. I promise you. Dominant defenses don't do that. Let me show you. You want to know what a dominant defense look like? Let me give you another glimpse, JB. Let me give you another glimpse. Look at what the Cowboys, this defense that was number 1 in the league, look at what they did to the Philadelphia Eagles, 34-10. 10 points. 10 points. This is how you do a team. 34-10. They came back in the conference championship. They beat the San Francisco 49ers. It's ironic we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. 30-20. They held them to 20 points. But understand this part. JB, you're not honest. You're not going to be honest with yourself if you try to tell me something different. Tell me the running back that Dak Prescott has played with and the offensive line that Dak Prescott has played with that was better than this. Tell me the offensive line. Tell me that Dak Prescott played with a running back that had a lead fullback and had an offensive line like this. Jay Novacek is one of the best tight ends the Cowboys ever had. Do you realize there's a reason why in 1992, this man at 30 years of age is a first-team All-Pro tight end? JB, you going to be dishonest with yourself? There is no 88 that compares to Michael Irvin. Dez Bryant don't compare to Michael Irvin. CeeDee Lamb, as much as I love CeeDee Lamb, he does not compare to Michael Irvin. Let me tell you something. I like Amari Cooper. Loved him. Dak didn't have this combination. Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper. Alvin Harper was a monster. Alvin Harper was a monster. Bro, do you realize this dude caught 35 catches for 562 yards? This dude was a monster. The Cowboys have not had an offense like this. We're being dishonest with ourselves. It's crazy talk. It's crazy talk. We shouldn't even be entertaining this. It's crazy talk. And in both of those games, we also did not have this, JB. You see this name right here? We didn't have Jimmy Johnson. We didn't have Jimmy Johnson. You see this name right here? We didn't have this name, Norv Turner. We have not had a head coach better than Jimmy Johnson. We have not had an offensive coordinator better than Norv Turner. We have not had a defensive coordinator better than Dave Onestad was at that time. Man, look at this look at this team, man. You can't even compare the 2021-2022 Cowboys to this 1992 Dallas Cowboy team. The team that resembles this 1992 Cowboy team is the Philadelphia Eagles. We've never resembled them. We've never resembled them. And if we say that we did, we're lying to ourselves. We're lying to ourselves. And you're talking about 23 points. Let me tell you something. The San Francisco 49ers of 92, they're better than the San Francisco 49ers that the Cowboys faced. They're better. They're better. Do we not understand the quarterbacks that these teams had? They were not even close. They were not even close. Do we not realize? You're talking about, let me just break this down for you some more, JB. That team for the San Francisco 49ers, both times the Cowboys have faced, they have not been close to George Seifert's 14-2 San Francisco 49ers. They have never, they are not close to this team. They're not close to this team. This team right here is an absolute beast of a team. Steve Young, Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, tied all up into one, could not touch Steve Young. Do you, look at this. Do you not realize, JB, Steve Young, this dude, 3,465 yards, 25 touchdowns. Look at this. Steve Young, a lot of people don't realize, black quarterbacks are not the only ones who could run the ball, because Steve Young could absolutely run it. This dude rushed for 76 times, 537 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ricky Waters was a monster running back. Tom Rathman, leading fullback. Tell me the wide receiver, JB, if you're telling me anything about these 22 San Francisco 49ers and comparing those to these 49ers and comparing the Cowboys to these Cowboys, you're not being honest. You're not being honest. This team had Jerry Rice, John Taylor. But come on, man. Do we not realize how great this team was? Man, you're not even comparing apples and fruit. It's not the same, man. It's not the same. This San Francisco 49er team was way, way, way better than the San Francisco team that the Dallas Cowboys faced in 2021. And the Dallas Cowboys of 1992 spanked this 14-2 team. They spanked them. The Cowboys spanked these boys. They spanked them. We're not being honest. I'm giving us facts. I'm not giving us excuses. I'm giving us facts. We have never built a team, and we start hanging on these statistics that don't even make sense. We have been good by our standards. The 1992 Cowboys were good by everyone's standards. Everyone. It wasn't just us saying it. Everyone knew the 1992 Cowboys were not to be played with. This is why I keep saying, I'll take this 1992 Cowboys team and I'll take this thing all through history. I'll wreck every team. I'll wreck every team in every generation. And not because of the quarterback, but because of the team. The team was a juggernaut. This Cowboys team was an absolute juggernaut. They came back in 1993. The Cowboys came back in 1993. And the Cowboys in 1993 were even more devastating. They were even more devastating, even though they only won 12 games that time. Man, look at Troy Aikman. Look at Troy Aikman's record. Look at Troy Aikman's stats. We would kill Dak Prescott for these stats. 271 for 392, 3,100 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He had 32 rushes for 125 yards. But you want to know how you can win? When your running back is running for 1,486 yards, 9 touchdowns, 57 catches for 414 yards, you're different. You're different. Alvin Harper turned up his production, 36 touchdowns, 777 yards this time, 5 TDs. Michael Irvin was just doing Michael Irvin things. Jay Novacek, they're just doing Jay Novacek things. Look at this team. This is what you call a team. This is a team. They not only had great players at the top, they had great players. They had not only great players, they had good players too. That's the difference. Look at what they did at safety. They even went and got better at safety. You thought James Washington was a hitter. Darren Woodson came in breaking necks. Kevin Smith could have been one of the best cornerbacks to ever play the game had he not tore his Achilles tendon. They had Darren Smith, Dixon Edwards, and Ken Norton at the linebackers. Again, Charles Haley, Russell Maryland, Tony Casillas, and Tony Tolbert. These boys were nasty on defense. They were nasty. I'm telling us. I'm just trying to show us we've never built these type of teams. We haven't built these type of teams. And do not discount the coaching matters. The coaching matters. We've never had an offensive coordinator as good as Norv Turner. Norv Turner was a mastermind at once upon a time. This man was a mastermind. And Jimmy Johnson was cut from a different cloth. This team was fantastic. And they're doing the same thing again. The thing that this team can do, the team that the Cowboys had in the 92-93 season, the reason why they were so good, they could travel. They could go anywhere and win. They could win on any type of field. They could win in any kind of weather because the team wasn't built around the quarterback. The team was built around the offensive line in the run game. That's what they were built around. It's fact, not conjecture. We're not built like that. We took Dak Prescott out of his element. Dak Prescott is a play-action quarterback. And what did we do? We went and took Dak Prescott out of play action, and we turned Dak Prescott into a drop-back passer. Why did we do that? Why would we turn Dak Prescott into a pure drop-back passer? It's not Dak Prescott's game. When Troy Aikman tried to do that, he couldn't succeed at it. Troy Aikman was not good at it either. This is what a lot of people don't know. And I keep showing this stat about Troy Aikman, and people do not understand what I'm telling them. Troy Aikman, I'm telling you, they brought in Norv Turner. They brought in Norv Turner to fix Troy Aikman. They had to. They had to. They brought him in to fix Troy Aikman because before they got Troy Aikman the run game. Troy Aikman, contrary to what people think, Troy Aikman, his whole career didn't turn around until Emmitt Smith got on that team and they got that offensive line together. And of course, the Herschel Walker trade did not hurt them any. But again, let me tell you, some of us do not understand what Troy Aikman was. We do not understand what Troy Aikman was. Troy Aikman, 1989, rookie season. Troy Aikman threw 18 interceptions. 18. Troy Aikman, 1990, 18 interceptions. Troy Aikman was 0-11 his first season, 7-8 the second season. Troy Aikman in his third season, 7-5. They went to the playoffs without Troy Aikman, and there were a lot of people who didn't think Troy Aikman was getting his job back. They really didn't think Troy Aikman was getting his job back. Troy Aikman, I'm telling you, Troy Aikman was a turnover machine. But Norv Turner came in and fixed him. And one of the ways that Norv Turner fixed him, pay attention. Norv Turner turned on the run game. And when they turned on the run game, and when Troy Aikman was able to play off of the play action, it helped him tremendously. It helped him tremendously because it was not a pass-first team. And when you look at his completion percentages, they pale in comparison to Dak Prescott's. They pale in comparison. And when you look at this. Even in the 92 season, he had 14 interceptions. 93 season, he really came into his own. But if you'll notice something that they did in 1993, just pay attention to the stats. He went 13-3 in 92. 1993. He didn't play a full season. It was 11-3. But look at the attempts. He missed those games. That helped him. His completion percentage went up. 3,100 yards, 15 touchdowns. And you look at the fact that he only had 6 interceptions. 94. 13 interceptions. Not 13. 12 interceptions. And if you'll notice, that's the season also that they lost in the NFC. I'm thinking it was the NFC Championship game when the San Francisco 49ers beat them down there in San Francisco. And do you know why we lost that game? Because Troy Aikman opened up that game with 3 interceptions. It was a messy field down there in Candlestick Park. Deion Sanders put the clamps on Michael Irvin, and then Michael Irvin beat him sometime. And there was some questionable pass interferences that I think they didn't call. But nevertheless, Troy Aikman threw 3, if not 4 interceptions in that game. And then when you look at the Cowboys, when they came back, they won that last Super Bowl, which was the 95 season. They went 12-4, and Troy Aikman had 7 interceptions. But after that, it was all downhill. Troy Aikman's career was all downhill after 1996. And that's fact. That is not conjecture. We are judging Troy Aikman, and a lot of us still don't want to accept this truth that I'm telling us. We judge Troy Aikman off of a 5-year run. That's what we're judging him on. We're judging him on 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. That was the best of Troy Aikman. If you look at Troy Aikman, his first 3 seasons, 89 through 91, he was in danger of losing his position. You look at him from 97 to 2000, 6-10, 7-4, 7-7, 4-7. That's Troy Aikman. Is he better than Dak Prescott? I don't know. I'm not knocking Troy Aikman. I'm just telling us Dak Prescott is better than we think. Dak Prescott didn't play on these type of teams. We have never had a team with Tony Romo. We've never had a team with Tony Romo nor Dak Prescott to where those teams were absolutely elite and dominant. We've never had one of those teams. It's not that we haven't had good teams under both of them. We haven't had teams that were better than the teams that went to the championship. You know how I know? Because when you have a championship team, it is hard for even the quarterback to sink you. And I've already shown us the San Francisco 49ers game. You obviously wasn't here for that. Dak Prescott, those 2 interceptions against the San Francisco 49ers only cost them 6 points in the second game. It only cost them 6 points. You think about the first game. Dak Prescott threw that interception so early in the San Francisco game that it shouldn't have mattered. Dak Prescott actually tried to bring them back in the second half, but the mythology of the first game that the Cowboys played against the San Francisco 49ers, when the San Francisco 49ers came to Dallas, we don't even understand something. We never led in that game. We never led in that game. We got behind the 8 ball even before the interception, 16-7. The Cowboys were behind the 8 ball. The San Francisco 49ers were dominating us. Ezekiel Elliott did nothing in that game. And this was prime Zeke. He did nothing. The San Francisco 49ers came in with a game plan. It's easy to come in and say Dak's going to have to beat us if you're going to take away all of his weapons. We don't even want to admit those San Francisco 49ers teams were better than us. They were better than us, especially defensively. They were better than us. Period in the story. And I'm telling us, we don't be honest about a lot of this stuff. We do not be honest about a lot of this stuff. Let me look at this next stat, and then I'm going to get back to Trevon Diggs. It's Cowboys After Dark, man. I got time. All I want to do is show us facts on this stuff. That's all I want to do. Let me show you again. There's a thing called the internet, y'all. Let me show you again. Tell me when Dak Prescott has played on consecutive defenses like this. In 1992, the Dallas Cowboys defense was ranked number 1 overall. In 1993, the Dallas Cowboys defense ranked 2nd in the league in total yards allowed. 4,767 yards. They allowed an average of 355 yards per game. That previous season, they was even better. They've never had nothing like this. They have not. And here it is again. Do you notice the word they keep using with the 92-93 Cowboys? Dominant. Dak Prescott has never played on a dominant team. They haven't. Look at this. Tell me the Cowboys team that's been known for this. The Dallas Cowboys defense was known for its strong performance, particularly in the passing game. We're lying to ourselves. We keep lying to ourselves. We keep painting this, and I know why we're lying to ourselves, because we let the media lie to us. We're lying to ourselves about the Dallas Cowboys, period in the story. We're lying to ourselves. And I'm not just talking about Dak Prescott. I'm talking about Tony Romo too. Tony Romo did not play on defenses. He did not play with defenses like these. Not these 92-93 Cowboys. He didn't play with defenses like these. We're not being honest with ourselves. Every single time. We're just not being honest with ourselves. We're not understanding. Let me show you again. This is the Cowboys' 1995 Super Bowl season. We're lying to ourselves. Here it is again. The Cowboys ranked 3rd in the league in yards allowed. These teams, these defenses they had, man, these guys were great. They were great. And we're not even talking about the offenses. The offenses were high octane. They were high octane offenses. We have not had offenses like this because these Cowboy offenses in 92, 93, they were high octane. I mean, they could put up points at will. And what really made them so good was the run game. It was the run game. Man, when you got a run game, you can do so many things. When you have a consistent run game, the Cowboys had a consistent run game. Let me show you something. Y'all, I'm telling you, we done forgot what dominant run games look like. Let me show you what a dominant run game looks like. This dude, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith bounced back in 1995. This dude rushed for 377 rushes for 1,773 yards and 25 touchdowns. Boy, we have forgotten how dominant the Dallas Cowboys were at the run game. We've never been this dominant. Not consecutive years. The Cowboys were monsters. They came back. They had Michael Irvin doing Michael Irvin things, 111 catches, 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns. They had this dude named Kevin Williams. Kevin Williams was a role player, and he killed it. 38 catches, 613 yards, 2 touchdowns. This dude was nice. We had Jay Novacek, 33 years of age. Jay Novacek was wrecking shop, 62 catches, 705 yards. Look at this offensive line. These dudes are 35, 34, 37, 24, and 27, and they were still absolute monsters. Larry Allen is probably one of the best right guards that ever played the game. Some will tell you he's the best right guard. Man, when you're talking about Larry Allen and Eric Williams on the same side, I don't think people understand what that did to defensive lines. There was no defensive line that could do anything with Larry Allen. They'll tell you. They'll tell you horror stories about Larry Allen. Zach Martin, Hall of Fame. Larry Allen, alien. Larry Allen was an alien. They'll tell you this. These dudes were crazy with it. Look at these defenses. This is the Super Bowl season. They still only had one defensive player go to the Pro Bowl. How'd they pull this off? We're just not being honest with ourselves. And this is the problem with us. We want to blame everything on Dak Prescott. This is not what they did. They didn't do this. They didn't do this stuff we do. It's all Dak Prescott's fault in Dallas. Well, I can tell you what they did in Dallas when Troy Aikman, when Jimmy got North Turner here. It was the run game. It wasn't Troy Aikman. It was the run game. It was the absolute run game. And again, we are great. Jerry is great. I give Jerry credit for this. Jerry is great at getting these players. And let me get back on topic. Jerry is great at getting players. And I just want to just stop for a moment to say all that to say, so what, Trevon Diggs was good? So what? So what, Michael Parsons is good? So what? So what, Deron Bland had a good season? So what? Dak Prescott been absolutely fabulous for about 3 seasons there when he's healthy. So what? CeeDee Lamb, absolute monster for at least 1 season. 2 seasons, absolute monster. So what? If you're not going to put a team around those type of players that can fill in the gaps, we're going to continue to get the same result. We're going to continue to get the same result over and over and over. Trevon Diggs, he's not enough. And this is one of the reasons why Trevon Diggs is going to be expendable for the Dallas Cowboys. Because if the Dallas Cowboys are truly going to try and build a team, they got to stop falling in love with their guys. They have to stop falling in love with their guys. They have to stop falling in love. The Cowboys have got to start falling in love with winning. And they got to start making moves that say, these are the moves that are best for the team. And I think Trevon Diggs is going to be one of the first casualties of this. I think the Cowboys are going to cut Trevon Diggs. I do. I think they're going to cut Trevon Diggs. And if they don't cut him, I will not be surprised if the Cowboys get him back. And if they see that he can still play, I wouldn't be surprised they trade him. I wouldn't be surprised they trade him. It's no other way to slice it on Trevon Diggs. And again, they got him at the top of the list. He's one of the players that is in absolute danger as it applies to the Cowboys. There's a couple of more articles here about Trevon Diggs. And again, one of the things that's going to really hurt Trevon Diggs is the draft. Because there seems to be some good cornerbacks in the draft. And the Cowboys, I'm just not going to be surprised with Trevon Diggs. They're going to probably replace him. A lot of people are saying that the Cowboys may draft a cornerback in the first 3 rounds. I hope it's number 3. I hope it's not number 1 or 2. I do not want to see that happen. But again, the Cowboys, they're going to have to make a decision also. Who do you choose? Deron Bland and Trevon Diggs? Because you're not going to extend Trevon Diggs and then also turn around and give Deron Bland a big contract. Somebody somebody is going to have to be a casualty. And I think it's going to be Trevon Diggs. But y'all tell me what you think. I think Trevon Diggs is going to be done for the Cowboys. And as much as I like Trevon Diggs, again, I think we have got to get to this point. We have got to get to the point on this team to where we got to stop loving our guys so much that we will, to a fault, hold on to them longer than we need to hold on to them. If Trevon Diggs can't perform for the Cowboys, it would behoove the Cowboys get Trevon Diggs healthy and then trade Trevon Diggs. And I'll tell you this, I think this may be even one of the reasons why, when you think about the Cowboys and Stephon Diggs, a lot of people want the Cowboys to get Stephon Diggs. This could be one of the reasons why they didn't get Stephon Diggs. Why get Stephon Diggs knowing that you you probably won't keep Trevon Diggs? I hope the best for Trevon Diggs. I hope he gets himself back together. Again, I hope he gets himself back together. But his injury is hampering him. And again, he's probably going to be a casualty. He's probably going to be a casualty. But again, let me change this on the fly. I want to go to another story. There is another story about a player out here, and his name is Jack Jones. And this is always mind-blowing to me. It's like every time, because people want the Cowboys to do what they want them to do. So every time there's a player that comes loose, everyone says, Cowboys, go get him. Why do we have to go get every player? Why do we have to go get every player? I understand the Cowboys got needs, but why do we have to come up every time that there is a player they want to tie him to the Cowboys? So this lets you know also there is no way the Cowboys are going to, if they bring in another cornerback. I mean, Trevon Diggs has got to be reading the tea leaves. Trevon Diggs has got to be reading these tea leaves, man. The Cowboys are wanting a cornerback bad. And I don't think they're wanting a cornerback just for the sake of in case Trevon Diggs don't come back. I think they're wanting a cornerback because they're anticipating that they're going to do something with Trevon Diggs. Like, they're going to either trade him or do something. But this article here talks about the fact the Cowboys could sign troubled cut cornerback amid Trevon Diggs' worries. Says the Dallas Cowboys hope to improve the secondary after a number of injuries and an overall disappointing showing clouded their 2024 season. With the NFL draft on the horizon, they could also turn to the free agent market. And this brings in the Jack Jones thing. So it's talking about Jack Jones, and it says a franchise notorious for giving players second chances, the Cowboys could be a landing spot for former Las Vegas Raiders defensive back Jack Jones. The Raiders released Jones after a lackluster showing last season and a general scheme change in coming with Pete Carroll becoming the new head coach. Jones posted career best in tackles, 69 tackles and 3 interceptions, ending his tenure as one of the most productive players from the Antonio Pierce regime. However, his 698 yards and 9 touchdowns allowed in coverage remain a glaring negative for any team willing to take him on. Man, ain't nobody taking him on. I mean, that's a crazy stat right there. It says the uncertainty around Diggs makes the need for a backup plan more pertinent for this group. Jones may not be more steady than options at hand, but Jones combined with the addition of a rookie generates more competition in the offseason. Nah, he's not coming in with that. It says, and I want to go to the next article because the next article, it says that the Joneses has a trouble behavioral history. And so when you look at this, it brings to my mind what Brian Schottenheimer has been saying. Brian Schottenheimer has been talking about character guys. He wants high character guys. So it says there are 3 issues that lead to controversial cornerback signing decision. I don't even think the Cowboys are thinking about this. I don't know. I haven't heard anything where they're thinking about this. But you know, these people, it's the offseason. People write this stuff as if it's actually true. It says that Dallas is shooting for upgrades in character and chemistry. Jack Jones' rap sheet tells us he's not worth an experiment here. I don't think it's his rap sheet. I think it's his stats. I think it's his stats, because you're not giving that up and somebody's going to want you to come in. It says here, let me go down. It says these three issues naturally lead to Cowboys Nation being willing to say maybe to every semi-named player who comes available. Who? Who are they talking about? I just wonder, who is the Cowboy Nation they're talking about? Who is the Cowboy Nation that every time some semi-named player comes available that we're willing to say maybe? Who said maybe on Jack Jones? I know I didn't. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all said maybe on Jack Jones. I didn't say maybe on Jack Jones. It said he had a lackluster last season. I don't understand why we would want him. It says, so what's the downside to Jack Jones? 1, 698 yards and 9 touchdowns allowed in coverage remain a glaring negative for any team willing to take him on. Who taking this dude on? Number 2, the former Patriots 4th rounder is 5'11" and 175 pounds. And at that relative diminutive size, a guy had better be dominant as a playmaker. He's not. No. I mean, nickel maybe, but no. 3, Jones has a troubled behavior history. He's been convicted of burglary. He's been arrested for carrying loaded guns in the airport. He is, to put a crisp frame around it, one of those missing curfew kind of guys. Oh, and there he's 27. Professionalism and maturity should have taken hold by now. The truth is, the central reason the Raiders picked him up after the New England dumped him is because Pierce was his high school and college coach. Not happening. It's just not happening. Not happening. I don't even know why they even brought that up. That is absolutely not happening. Jack Jones to the Cowboys is absolutely a no-go. Absolutely a no-go. But again, you know, people need stories here in the offseason, and it's like every time somebody is mentioned, they are tied to the Dallas Cowboys. Big Mace said that's why Asante still out there. I wanted Dallas to get him. Big Mace, I would love for the Dallas Cowboys to bring in Asante Samuel. I really would. Asante Samuel with some work, man, he could probably be extremely good for the Dallas Cowboys. I would love for the Cowboys to bring in Asante Samuel. Philly Bourne, he says, that's one thing I love about Howie Roseman. He doesn't fall in love with players. We just won a Super Bowl, and he hit the reset button and revamped our defensive unit. Philly Bourne, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. Man, let me tell you something, Philly Bourne. Howie Roseman is the GM of the year. There's no other way to slice it. Still the GM of the year. He is. He's the GM of the year. There's no other way to slice it. He just knows he knows what he's doing as far as working the cap. I mean, he's good at player personnel. Whoever he's got working on his team, he is just great at what he's doing. There's no other way to get around it. But I'm hoping that it looks like we're going to be turning around. Boy, I look forward to you on here, Philly Bourne. Because, boy, when we play y'all, you know, Dak said that he don't think we very far from y'all, even though y'all won the Super Bowl. We're going to be ready we're going to be ready this season. We're going to be ready, boy. I can't wait. SE Bean, apparel. You're doggone right. You're doggone right. When Jimmy left, our talent went down. That's why Troy struggled. Wait a minute, SE Bean. Could you be saying exactly what I'm telling people? You can't win without a team. And you can't win without the right coach. Troy didn't start winning until Jimmy came. Troy didn't start winning until Jimmy made the trade of the century, Herschel Walker. Troy didn't start winning until they got a run game and an offensive line. They didn't start winning until they started putting players around Troy Aikman. It's an easy formula. And the Cowboys didn't just put together a team, they put together a dominant team. There's a difference. There's a difference. And Troy Aikman has never had, and Dak Prescott nor Tony Romo has never had one of those teams. The 90s was foundational. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember that too. Oh, man, Dallas Cowboy 92. Boy, I remember that when Mike broke that neck. Yes, sir. I remember that too. Boy, that was heartbreaking. Poobie D, Cowboys are like my Lakers. We don't hang, but championship banners, no division of no division of conference championships. Yes, sir. But again, I'm telling this, man, it's like every time there's something come up, the Cowboys are tied to it. I don't believe half this stuff. But again, let's keep moving here. I want to move down to this thing where they have the Cowboys power ranked. They have the Cowboys power ranked after the Cowboys have done what they've done so far. And so let's kind of look at what they have here. I think this is very interesting, this whole power rank thing. Here we go. So the Cowboys power rank. And just kind of going with some of the stuff that we're kind of talking about, for example. See, the Cowboys of the 90s, they were elite. Everybody, there was just no teams that people thought were better hardly than the Cowboys. They were just crazy with it. Emmitt Smith said something today that I think is very interesting. Emmitt Smith was talking about the disrespect of the Dallas Cowboys, of how teams just disrespect the Cowboys now. They just make fun of the star, even though they don't have the winning history that we have. But again, this new generation, man, they're not caring about that stuff. Some of these people weren't even alive when the Cowboys won the last Super Bowl. We got some Dallas Cowboy fans that are younger than 30 years old. They don't remember the Cowboys. Some of them are 35 years old. They're 5 years old when the Cowboys were winning the Super Bowl. They don't really have a vivid memory of the Cowboys' dominance. And that's why it's harder to explain to some. But again, when you think about the Cowboys, and they talk about this, let me see. They got the power ranks of the Dallas Cowboys. It says that the Cowboys are difficult to get a proper read on ahead of 2025. Dak Prescott is coming back from a torn hamstring. The defense has gotten a lot of bargain free agent signings, and it will be Brian Schottenheimer's first head coaching gig. Not to mention all the other coaching changes, and that is before the draft happens. But it appears not everyone is selling their Dallas stock ahead of 2025. No, the Cowboys are going to be good. Sports Illustrated Connor Orr ranks the Cowboys at number 11 in his post-free agency power rankings. Surely a surprise to Dallas Cowboy fans, not me. It's important to criticize this team because of the decisions being made by the ownership, Orr writes. However, the talent here is good enough to survive on fumes, and being a number 6 seed out of the punchless NFC isn't exactly a tough task when one has a top 10 quarterback, an elite pass rusher with a top 5 wide receiver. This is especially true if Dallas adds another difference maker in the draft. Hold on. We got something here. I love what he said. The Cowboys has a top 10 quarterback. I contend the Cowboys have a top 5 quarterback. But at least he's saying top 10. It's true. They got an elite pass rusher and a top 5 wide receiver. I say they got a top 10. They got a top 5 quarterback. And they got a top 3 wide receiver. Top 3 wide receiver. Cowboys are on to something. It says here, Orr is right. Dak Prescott, Michael Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb are quite the trio to hit your wagon to. It's true. They are. But right now, there are too many unknowns on both sides of the ball. But a good draft will say Matthew Golden and Amarion Hampton in the early rounds might shift the narrative. The Cowboys are going to have so many options. The Cowboys are going to have so many options in this draft. And this is one of the main reasons. I don't want the Cowboys Dallas, you don't have to draft. You don't have to try to get up in the draft, move up in the draft. If you want to move back if someone is not there, just make it very calculated. Make sure you can get one of the top 5 wide receivers and make sure you can get one of the top 5 running backs. I'm telling y'all though, y'all better get prepared. I'm not going to be surprised if the Cowboys get Luther Burden III. I'm just telling you. I'm not going to be surprised if the Cowboys get Luther Burden III. I'm not. So here are the power rankings. The Philadelphia Eagles are number 1. The Buffalo Bills are number 2. The Lions are number 3. Chiefs are number 4. Ravens at number 5. Vikings at number 6. Packers. I don't understand the Packers infatuation. I don't understand the Packers infatuation. That was one season. They reverted back to whatever they were before that run they went on last year. I mean, a lot of people right now got to be questioning Jordan Love. Jordan Love was good for half a season. That's been it. He's been good for half a season. I don't understand the Packers at 7. Commanders at 8. I would put the Commanders higher than them. Los Angeles Chargers, do not understand this one. Nope, don't understand it. Cincinnati Bengals, what have they done? They're going to be the same team from last year. What's different? I mean, what's different? Maybe they'll do some different things in the draft. They're number 10. The Cowboys are number 11. I would put the Cowboys above the Cincinnati Bengals, even though the Bengals beat us. But the Bengals, we almost beat the Bengals with Cooper Rush. I don't think the Bengals are better than us. I definitely don't think the Chargers are better than us. The Cowboys, at the very least, they're going to split with the Washington Commanders. We beat them. We split with them last year. Green Bay Packers are not better than the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think until we see what J.J. McCarthy does, I don't think the Vikings are better than the Cowboys with J.J. McCarthy, but we're going to see. But either way, I mean, even at an 11th ranking, that's telling us something, Dallas Cowboys. Somebody thinks the Dallas Cowboys are going to the playoffs. I, for one, absolutely think the Cowboys are going to the playoffs. The power rank, I'm not tripping on it too hard. It's still real early. What's really going to determine what the Cowboys are going to look like this season is what do they do in the draft. What do they do in the draft? The draft is going to make everything make sense in this free agency thing. Not to mention, as we get closer to the season, there'll be teams. We got undrafted free agents that's got to come in. There are also going to be players that are going to get cut. The roster cuts down during the preseason. There may be some players that we can upgrade our team with there. The Cowboys are on their way to building a very good roster. But again, I've already told us this. We're going to have to kind of be patient. You don't build the best roster in the NFL the way Stephen Jones said he wants to do. You don't do that in one season. That takes about 2 to 3 seasons. So this season will go a long way towards getting the depth. It'll go a long way towards getting the depth. We'll see if some of these players we got, if maybe we can hold on to them. And they'll have us prepared that when we go into the 2025 draft, we go into the 2026 draft, 2026 free agency, the Cowboys are truly going to be able to get best player available. And also, I think this will put the Cowboys in position that next year they will go quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. The Cowboys may go out there and get a big fish or two next year compared to what they did this year because they will not need as much. Skeptical fan, appreciate that super chat. Skeptical fan said he was 15 years old when they won their last Super Bowl. Yep. Wow. Yes, sir. Man, it's hard to believe it's been this long, man. And Emmett is on to something. I kind of agree with Emmett. Emmett said at least every decade you should be challenging for a Super Bowl. I agree with him. I agree with him. And if Jerry would stop trying to get star players and start building a team around the star players that he has, I think the Cowboys will be able to do something. I really do. I think they're going to be able to do something. Let's look at this next story with Demarion Overshown.
Yes! Here we go!
There are a lot of people who are very happy about this story. I want to see if I can find some of this. I did not copy the link today, forgive me. But man, let me tell you something. Boy, when I tell you that these people were clowning this Demarion Overshown thing. Man, these fans are hilarious, man. When you look at some of the comments they make, some of these fans ought to be ashamed of themselves. Let me see if I can find some of this stuff. And if I can't, I won't. But boy, I just thought it was so funny. I just thought it was so funny when they started. Let me see here. Because some of these posts of Demarion Overshown getting the zero jersey, while there are a lot of people who are happy about it, there are other people, I'm just telling you, man, they have been making so much fun of this. It is absolutely insanity. And I'm like, boy, these doggone Cowboy haters don't have no filter, man. They don't have no filter. Let me see here. I want to pull this up with the story. Let's see. Now, I'm going to tell you, too, I saw some very, let me see. I saw some very interesting comments about this. And y'all tell me how y'all feel about this. I think it's a good thing. It doesn't bother me. I mean, some people get bent out of shape about this stuff that the Dallas Cowboys gave Demarion Overshown the zero. I don't really see the big deal. I mean, I think it's cool because it kind of plays into the persona of Demarion Overshown. And Demarion Overshown is just an absolutely great player. And I think he has the potential, if we can ever just get him healthy, Demarion Overshown is going to be special for this team. He really is. He is going to be special for this team. And I do think in the future, he may turn out to be the absolute undisputed defensive leader on this team. I really do. I mean, he's a great player. But some people were saying that they were perturbed at the Cowboys. I was trying to find some of these comments. Some people were saying they were perturbed at the Cowboys. And y'all tell me what you think on this. They were saying that this is the stuff that frustrates them about the Cowboys because they said it's all about marketing. And that they have found another reason or another way to market the Cowboys rather than focusing on winning. I don't really know how I feel about that necessarily. I guess you could kind of look at it both ways. I don't see any harm in it. I really don't. I just don't see any harm in it. I think it's kind of cool. It's one of these things, he asked for it. Jerry gave it to him. And I do think Jerry gave it to him because a part of it is I think he really likes Demarion Overshown, has a lot of respect for him. But some people are saying this is just typical Cowboys, that they go in, the Cowboys go in, and they just do things for marketing purposes. Y'all tell me what you think about that. I don't think it's a big deal. It's not a distraction or anything like that. I mean, I don't understand, the big deal, but I can get, I can get with it. Some people, man, it just is what it is. Some people are just like that. Let me see if I can read some of the comments. Let me read the story on it. On this Demarion Overshown thing. Hold on, let's go back here. And a lot of people, boy, a lot of people, they're so crazy. A lot of people like it. But then you get other people. I saw some comments where people people were saying stuff like, I didn't know you could put the amount of Cowboys playoff wins on the back of the jersey. Yeah, listen, look at this right here. Man, these people are crazy, man. I just thought this was insane, some of the stuff these people are saying. We got a lot of Cowboy fans, and they absolutely love it. Somebody named Bakewan Sarkley he said, wow, that's my prediction for the Cowboys playoff wins, too, in the next 5 years. I mean, it's crazy. Dana C. Nielsen says, love this. Some people are looking at this as Jerry is changing his ways, said by Riley Freeman, and he kind of puts a question mark behind it. You get people about time. And again, the Philadelphia Eagle fans, boy, they will not stop the trolling. I mean, they said the only good thing about the boys is that you're allowed to play in your home state if you want to ring, come to Philly, stuff like that. But I just wonder. I just don't see the big deal about it. I like it. I think it's cool. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Y'all tell me what you think about this. Maybe you can change my mind on it. But do you see this as Jerry like? Do you see this as Jerry like changing his ways? Y'all tell me what you think about this. I mean, because it's definitely going to be good for marketing. It is definitely going to be good for marketing. I mean, and again, I'm telling y'all, I like Michael Parsons. But this dude, Demarion Overshown, is different. If he can stay healthy, if this dude can stay healthy, he is literally going to be the leader of this defense. This dude is different. He really is. He is different. And this is definitely going to get a lot of people, because I've already seen people talking about Jerry's changing his ways. Somebody says marketing move by Jerry, and of course everyone is going to buy all the Agent Zero stuff, and things will still never change with this franchise. Rinse and repeat, Cowboys will always be mid. And I think where this attitude is coming from, again, Skull Unknown, he made a good comment. I mean, I think it's a great comment, but it all depends on how you look at it. The Cowboys have had some great players. But if you think about those 90s teams, you literally have to look back at the rosters to remember that they actually had great teams. But when you look at them, you realize they had great teams. They didn't have just great players. They were not just top heavy. I find it to be so powerful when you look at some of the rankings of their defenses, 92, 93, 95. They had so little Pro Bowlers. None on the first team. The last team only had Charles Haley, and I couldn't remember on the second team. It goes to show you how good of a team they were. They were just a great team. And one of the really first big marketing guys we brought on the team, and I say we like I'm in the franchise, one of the first really big marketing guys we brought on the team was Deion Sanders. Now, the difference in Deion Sanders and when you start talking about a player, marketing a player, Deion Sanders was just a difference maker, straight up. We got beat by San Francisco in that 94. Deion came on in 95 and helped us win the Super Bowl. And again, O'Donnell, I think somebody still needs to check his offshore accounts because I can't understand why he threw 2 interceptions to Larry Brown, but it is what it is. But again, y'all tell me what you think in the chat. Do you really look at this as this means the Joneses are really changing? Because in the grand scheme of things, it's a great marketing issue. It's a great marketing move. Yeah, it's good they gave it to Overshown, but think of all the money they're going to make off this. I mean, this shirt is fire right here. This shirt is fire, man. Agent Zero, they're going to sell a ton of these if that's an official shirt. And again, this dude Overshown, man, if he can stay healthy, he'll be the face of this defense. He'll be the face of this defense. because he'll be the biggest playmaker on the defense. He will be. And so again, you got a lot of people. They're talking, they're talking about they can't wait to buy it. When will the shirt be available? Look at this. WR says, so you're telling me all the hate Jerry Jones got was for nothing? He says, he said laughing his butt off, lame Cowboy fans. I mean, it's just the hatred for the Cowboys is always going to be there. But again, I just wonder if do y'all take this as let me read the article and then y'all tell me what you think. Do y'all really see this as a changing of the guard with the Cowboys? Do you see this as something where Jerry Jones is changing? And I don't think it's Jerry Jones necessarily changing. I really do think we're watching the transition to Stephen Jones. I really do. I think we're watching the transition of Stephen Jones. But y'all tell me in the chat what y'all think about this. I like it. I mean, it's definitely cool. I like it. I mean, good for Demarion Overshown. He really wanted that number. So I really do think it's cool for him. But again, y'all tell me what you think. I mean, do y'all really think this is Jerry changing? You really think this is about Jerry changing? I just wonder. I really do wonder about this. Is this all about him changing? Let me get down into the here. Boy, these Dak Prescott discussions, man, they'll never stop. They'll never stop. I'm just telling you. And Dak is one of the most polarizing quarterbacks out there. But when Dak get him one, and he will get him one, please, I hope we don't continue to have discussions about Dak Prescott. Richard Owens, I love what you said here. He says, I believe this. He says, I believe that it works for both of them because Overshown is a player that will give you his all every play. Yeah, I really like this about that's the thing about Overshown. And this is one of the reasons why I believe Overshown in the near future. Overshown is going to be the leader on this defense. He really is. He's going to be the leader on this defense if he can stay healthy. Calvin Walden, he said, I started watching the Cowboys in 1960. He said, I would like to talk to you. He said, I would like to talk to you personally. Man, the Cowboys have got a great tradition of winning. See, man said I'm wild. And, hey, man, we need to check. We need to check on Donald's offshore accounts, boy, because the interceptions he threw, boy, man, let me tell you, that dude, boy, that was terrible, man. That was absolutely terrible. But again, hey, Poopa D, I done already told you, man, that catch by Dwight Clark, boy, I cried on that one. Because I know Joe Montana, man. Poopa D, people do not understand how good those San Francisco 49ers were back in the day, man. This dude, Joe Montana, man, I know doggone well Joe Montana was throwing that ball out the back of the end zone. Joe Montana threw that ball up, but that dude, Dwight Clark, went up and got that ball. Boy, man, when Dwight Clark went up and got that thing over Everson Walls, boy, and then spiked it, man, you talking about somebody was crying, Poopy D. Boy, I was crying over that catch. I was absolutely crying over that catch. T. Foster, he said it's just BS. He said off the field news. Well, T. Foster, there's not a lot going on. So, man, a lot of people, man, and I guess myself included to a degree, man, we trying to get any kind of, boy, we trying to get we trying to get any news we can, brother. We really are trying to keep the Cowboy fans motivated. Daniel said, did you check out the tape on Jabbar Muhammad, the cornerback from Oregon? The dude is a dog. Let me write that down. I'm sorry. Make sure I write that down. I'm going to try to do some, I'm actually going to try to do some film work here over the next couple of days. We're going to see how it go. I got some, I got a new app I want to try out. So it'll probably be members only stuff because I haven't. There's no way of getting around it. I mean, I guess some of these guys have figured out ways to get around it, but whenever you do film work, I've noticed you get copyright struck. I've been trying to talk to people about how do they do it without getting copyright struck, and I just don't know. I haven't. I don't know how to do it. Yeah, I don't really know how to do it. All right, we're gonna talk here. We're gonna get to our last subject matter for tonight, and then we're gonna get to our last subject matter, and it is going to be Sadiq Charles. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Sadiq Charles. All right.
Here we go.
So I want y'all to think about Sadiq Charles. Sadiq Charles is a guy the Cowboys are picking up. And understand what this pickup is all about. Sadiq Charles is about depth. And I'm telling y'all something, man. I cannot tell y'all how much I appreciate what the Cowboys are doing. I don't know how other people are looking at this, but I am just so appreciative of what the Cowboys are doing. They're building depth. The Cowboys are saying that rather than going in the draft and going back in the draft and getting certain players, the Cowboys are getting players that would probably be better than the players they would get in the draft and spend some of those later round picks on, of which they can really make those later picks even count. I'm just telling you about me. I want the Cowboys to double up in two positions. Running back and wide receiver. I want the Cowboys to double up. And I would be satisfied if they decide not to double up at wide receiver. My wish for the Cowboys would be wide receiver, running back, and the hybrid, Savion Williams. If they could get Savion Williams with a wide receiver and a running back, I'd be ecstatic. Because I'm telling y'all, man, Savion Williams is going to be crazy in this thing. Savion Williams is going to be crazy in this league, I believe. We're going to be talking about Savion Williams. And I'm going to tell you this, if the Cowboys don't get Luther Burden III, people are going to be talking about Luther Burden III too. People are going to be talking about Luther Burden III. They are. Y'all watch what I tell you. Luther Burden III is going to be a playmaker in this league. Him and Savion Williams both. They mess around and get in the right offenses, they're going to be playmakers. They absolutely are. But I want to go to our man, Matty Dubs. Again, I'm going to try to contact Matty Dubs here this week. And I'm going to see if we can get Matty Dubs on here, on a live stream with us. I want to see if we can get Matty Dubs in here. But Matty Dubs, boy, as usual, Matty Dubs is on it as it applies to one Sadiq Charles. So I want to go to some tape analyzation that he's done on Sadiq. And it's not long. He doesn't do very long film study. He kind of studies maybe 3 or 4 plays, kind of giving you the potential of the player. And sometimes he'll give you even some of the shortcomings of the player. But let's hear what he has to say about one Sadiq Charles. All right. I'll tell you about this guy, Sadiq Charles. He retired for personal reasons. He was actually projected to be the starter for the Tennessee Titans when he went to the Titans. Yeah, he was projected to be the starter. And he just abruptly retired. A lot of people are saying that it was some personal issues of some sort. But I tell you why I like this. The Cowboys are doing exactly what I said earlier. They're creating competition in camp. And for all intents and purposes, when you look at this guy, I mean, he got the size, the body type looks, I mean, he looks like he can actually play. Man, he might turn out to be pretty good for the Cowboys. But whatever the case may be, the Cowboys are building depth. They're building depth. They really are. And this kid is only 25 years old. Let me see here. Yeah, they're talking about he unretired. So, man, I'm not mad at it. I mean, it seems like it's a low-risk pickup. Why not? Why not? Whatever personal issue he had, he settled it. Yep, he absolutely settled it. He's young. Again, it'll just be competition. He don't make it, he gets cut. No big deal. Yep. So, again, there is going to be some serious competition in Dallas. And I like it. Because, again, we have way too much. The Cowboys it's like they pick their starters. The Cowboys pick their starters with no competition. No, man, you need to have competition. You really do need to have competition. Because if you don't, then how do you create the dog in your team? When you don't have the dogs on the team fighting on the scraps. I remember when I was younger, my uncle, he would raise dogs. And what he would do, he would raise them dogs, man. Sometimes he wouldn't feed them, and you shouldn't do this stuff. Believe me, don't do this stuff. But boy, when he would feed them that next day, man, he throw that food out there, man, they'd be fighting over that food, man. They would be fighting over that food. I do not advise anybody to do that. But again, man, when dogs hungry, boy, they scrap, man. They scrap. They fight. They'll tear something up to get that food. So, man, this guy might turn out to be good for the Cowboys. Might turn out to be good for the Cowboys. So, man, I like it. I really do. Yep, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. All right, let's put up a couple of more stories here before we get out of here. It's only 1:38. Let's pull up a couple of more stories here. I think I saw a couple other things that I want to talk about. Let's see. Let's see. I saw a guy. Let me see here. I thought he was on 105.3 The Fan. Maybe I'm. Oh yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's check this cutout from. Let's check this cutout. Let me. Man, I'm adjusting on the fly tonight again. I didn't get a chance to do my slides the way that I want to, so we're gonna knock this out right here. We're going to knock this bad boy out right here. All right. Let's listen to Dan Brugler. He's going to talk about the Cowboys draft targets. Okay, let me correct that. Dan Brugler is the name. Some of y'all have probably heard of him. Some of y'all may have already watched this video. Let's kind of listen to what Dan Brugler has to say. Y'all let me know. I had a couple of sound issues today. I don't think I'll have them tonight. I think I figured out what it was. Let me make sure this is. I don't think we watched this one. Maybe I watched it because I noticed it's showing it being played. Let's see. All right. Y'all let me know if you heard the sound on that. Because the day I was playing the video and I didn't have no sound. Y'all let me know. All right, y'all got audio on the video? All right, hold on a second. Man, I have got to figure out what is this thing going on? Why is this not playing? Why can I not hear? Let me make sure. All right, I appreciate you there. Somebody told me they couldn't hear it, so let me go back through. I gotta fix this tomorrow before I get back online. Cannot figure out what's going on with this part of my sound, but I got my trusty. All right, I got my other trusty side over here. All right, I know we can get sound on this side. All right.
Professional Hollywood editors, we're going to show you the stuff that nobody else is teaching. I'm talking about real creative skills, like how you can use music and sound design.
My man Marcus, he said, "Gee, you need a production." He said, "You need a production team staff." Man, not stat. I wish I did. Yeah, unfortunately, this time I'm a one man band. All right,
Dane, how are you, sir?
Y'all got the sound on that one?
I've been called worse. Hey guys, good morning. How are you?
All right, man. Lost in translation, man. What's going on, boy? What you doing up this late? You off tomorrow? Yes, sir. Good to see you on tonight. All right. This is Dan Brugler. Yes, sir. D Webb. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. This is Dan Brugler.
How are you guys?
Doing great. Excited that the Beast is here. Dude, first off, before we get into the actual content or some of these draft questions, it is so sleek and stylized looking this year. You got like all the different like graphics and such a clean new look and all the different things with it. You've still got the regular printed version I see available, but it looks like you guys have tricked it up this year.
Yeah, wanted to still honor the people who like to print it out and have a physical copy and, go with the straight PDF. But, it's 2025. Let's upgrade this thing. And yeah, it's the navigation's really easy. You can search. There's over 2,600 players in this thing. So you can search for anybody you want. There's testing information for all of them. 400 reports, all the background information that you're just not going to get anywhere else. So yeah, if you like the draft at all, I promise you will not be disappointed. Check out the Beast. Make sure you have it by your side when the Cowboys are drafting here in a few weeks, and you'll have.
We're gonna talk about, before I get out of here, Ty Church. We'll talk about. I'm gonna tell you why I also think that Ted McMillan is going to fall to the Cowboys are going to have a good chance to get Ted McMillan. But let's check. I'm gonna check it. Let's check out Brugler.
Everything you need to know about the player.
So let's start with the Cowboys first. And Dane Brugler from The Athletic joining us here on 105 through the Fan. His annual draft guide is out now. It is a must for everybody. We're gonna have it here in the studio, I know, for the next few weeks. Dane, let's start with Cowboys first before we get to some larger draft questions. The name we keep hearing a lot in mock drafts and things like that. I don't know how much it's coming from the Star, but just people connecting dots. They keep mocking Omarion Hampton, the North Carolina running back at 12. I've been feeling like that's a little rich. I really, if I'm picking at 12 and I'm getting a running back, I'd probably want Genty is the only one I'd go for, but he's likely not to be there at this point. Is Hampton a guy that you think you could justify and say, I understand if the Cowboys were to go with him at 12, I understand why they would make that pick?
It would. I follow along with kind of where you're thinking. It feels rich. I mean, Omarion Hampton is a really good player. It's maybe the best compliment you can give is, yeah, okay. Last year in 2023 with Drake May, ran for over 1,500 yards, almost 6 yards a carry. But without Drake May this past year, everybody knew Marion Hampton was getting the ball. They don't have a quarterback. The offense really revolved around the run game. He still rushed for over 1,600 yards, 6 yards a carry, 15 touchdowns. So, regardless of what the blocking was, what the quarterback was doing, Omarion Hampton was productive, and he does it in different ways. He has the traditional build that you want from a running back. 6 foot, 220 pounds. He brings a power element, but he also has speed. He has above average burst for a guy that size. So he's a proven workhorse. And so there's a lot of things to like about him. I think Hampton will be a first round pick, but especially in a draft class like this that is so deep at the running back position, I think of the different ways they could go with that 12th pick. And I think a wide receiver, defensive lineman, maybe even a corner. To me, that makes a lot more sense in the first round. And then wait until day 2 and get Mike Caleb Johnson, get RJ Harvey. There's just so many running backs in this class that I think can help upgrade this team's running game, and they can get a better player there at 12 overall.
So your number one position at 12 would be?
Native Instruments are running a 5 for $55 offer on Machine, Massive X, and
a reach at 12.
And I think that, and then the Cowboys don't really draft positions in the top 15, right? I think they target players more so than positions.
Right.
And really, I mean, the Cowboys deserve a ton of credit for how they've drafted the last, 10, 15, 20 years when they've had a top 15 pick, top 20 pick. They haven't let it go to waste. They've gone and got the CD Lambs and the Zach Martins, and, they've really maximized those early picks. And so when I look at that 12th overall pick, I think you could make an argument that assuming all receivers are available at that point, whether they go with McMillan from Arizona, Matt Golden from Texas, I mean, they could really upgrade and make an upgrade in the passing game. I think that makes a lot of sense. We know they need to get better on the defensive line, and so they could upgrade there as well, whether it's, could be a pass rusher like a Mike Green, it could be a defensive tackle, and we know they need corner help. So to me, the position I keep coming back to is wide receiver. This is a different wide receiver group than last year. There's no Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr. If Brian Thomas, who went in the 20s last year, if he were in this draft class, he would be the first receiver drafted. So it's not necessarily a super strong receiver group, but there's still talent. There's still good players. And in my opinion, McMillan is the best of the group, long, flexible. He's ball winning instincts. That's what really stands out the most with him. When the ball's in the air, he's going to go get it and come down with it. You rarely see the ball hit his body, get to his body, because he's catching everything out in front with his hands. So if I have a chance to go get McMillan, if I'm the Cowboys, I think that makes a ton of sense.
On McMillan.
Now, again, Ted McMillan, he is what he is. Ted McMillan, to me, is the best pure receiver in the draft. Hands catcher, Spider-Man hands. He can do the high points on the ball. He's going to be dangerous down in the red zone. Ted McMillan is going to be fade routes, corner routes. I mean, he'll be easier to see in those drop 7 zones. There won't be so many tight window throws with Ted McMillan, wide catch radius. I really don't think you can lose with Ted McMillan, but we got to understand something. He's not a big-time playmaker. That if you get Ted McMillan, then you better make sure that the running back that you pick up, he's a home run hitter, and he can hit his head on the goalpost. You better get that running back. That running back has better be. Ted McMillan means that running back has to be special, in my opinion, because Ted McMillan is not what I classify as an explosive wide receiver. Pure wide receiver, not explosive. Not explosive. I could see it being like the Michael Irvin, Alvin Harper in some sense, but Alvin Harper was more of a burner, though. Harper was more of a burner. Harper would kill you deep. Ted McMillan, he will not be a bad pick. He'll be actually a great pick. I'm just trying to explain it in a way for us to understand. Ted McMillan, if you're saying you want the most explosive wide receiver in the draft, it's not Ted McMillan. Not to me, it's not. If you're wanting the best pure wide receiver in the draft, it's probably Ted McMillan when you look at size and overall attributes. But I'm just telling us, Ted McMillan is not the most explosive. I dare anybody. Put Luther Burden's tape beside Ted McMillan. Your whole mind is going to be blown. Yep, you're going to see the sticky hand catches with Ted McMillan. You're going to see some of the high balls and things of that nature. But, boy, when you talking about get that ball in the open field, man, Luther Burden III, do not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Jerry sees some Dez Bryant in it.
And we're talking with Dane Brugler here on 105 Through the Fan. His annual draft guide is out now over at The Athletic. You can pick up a copy with your Athletic subscription. Dane, with McMillan and the questions about his 40 time and how fast he is, does that matter as much when you look at least for me, when I watch McMillan, I see a guy who's very efficient with his movements, and there's not a whole lot of wasted steps for me. So I look at it, I go like, yeah, it may be 4.55 or whatever it is, but to me, that's still a really efficient mover when he's out there working in space.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a very limber athlete, and he actually ranked third among receivers in all of college football last year in forced missed tackles after the catch. So he's got a little.
Drew 912. Man, hey man, I love some of the stuff you saying. Man, you gotta hit me up on who you are. Drew 912 said, I was a Cowboys fan until they bypassed me in the draft. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to reveal your real name. I can understand that too. But boy, man, you played in the league, man. Drew 912 said they bypassed me. And again, he says, my son plays against Dallas twice a year. I'm no longer a fan. Now, I don't remember if you told us who your son was. If you don't want us to know who he is, I can understand that too. But man, boy, you got some skill. And obviously your son got some too. Man, I'd love to know your name so I can look you up and your son too, see who he played for. But if you don't want to, I can understand that too.
Bit of slipperiness to him, massive catch radius. That's really, that's the reason you want to draft him, is the catch radius. It's really unique. It's kind of.
Now, I want you to notice something that Dane Brugler said. And I want to go to a comment here in the comments by William Vogelli. I think he says something interesting here. He says, only thing I'm worried is Dak couldn't throw to Dez Bryant. He doesn't throw jump balls good. Even Lamb has been saying just throw it up. Dak is not good at fades. That's why we don't see many. Now, I think you make an interesting point, which I do think he can throw the fade routes. But I think with Dez, let's kind of go here with Dez. You remember what the knock was on Dez? You remember what the knock was, William? He wasn't a route runner. This is one of the reasons why Ted McMillan could be really good for Dak. You know what Dak likes? Route runners. Dak is a very, I was talking about this the other day. Remember what I said? He's a very cerebral quarterback. So when Dak Prescott is playing quarterback, Dak Prescott is computing X's and O's. He's computing. And for Dak Prescott, Dak is wanting you to be where he expects you to be. Dak is wanting you to be where he wants you, where you're supposed to be in the play. So Dak Prescott is looking for you where you're supposed to be. Dak knows what Dak knows every route everybody is running. Dak is reading the defense. He's computing and calculating all these things. And so when Dak makes that decision to throw to you, Dak wants you to be exactly where you're supposed to be. You remember the knock on Dez Bryant? Couldn't run routes. Which I don't think that was true. I just don't think that's how they worked with Dez. Dez was slants, fades, jump balls. That was Dez Bryant. That was Dez Bryant. You think about the Green Bay game, the catch. That was Dez Bryant. Tony Romo throwing it up one-on-one and not necessarily even being accurate with the ball. He was just expecting. Dez will go get it. Now with Ted McMillan, he'll be a little bit different than Dez. Because, and I shouldn't say a little bit different, he'll be a lot different. He's a route runner. He's a route runner, sticky hands, large catch radius. Dak won't have to worry about a lot of that kind of stuff with Ted McMillan. I mean, even the fade routes with Ted McMillan and the corner routes, they'll be different because he's just a bigger bodied, longer, lankier wide receiver. And it won't be like you're maybe necessarily throwing jump balls. You'll just have to throw within his catch radius. And with him, you just put it up high. There's a difference in throwing it to a guy that's got to jump up to get it and when you're throwing it to a guy who don't have to jump to get it. I mean, Ted McMillan he'll be great for the Cowboys. Dak will love Ted McMillan. I believe Dak will love Ted McMillan. I mean, because he really gives you, in a sense, Ted McMillan really gives you a margin of error. He does. You might sell one a little high. Well, Ted can get it. Where you could put a ball in front of a receiver and he don't get it. Let's go back to the Green Bay game. Brandon Cooks is running, it looks like a quick slant. And the Green Bay Packers cornerback literally just climbs over the top of him and gets that interception. He don't get that interception on a Ted McMillan type receiver because Ted McMillan is too big for a cornerback just to come over the top of him. It ain't happening. It's just not happening. Longer arms, sticky hands. He'll probably be able to get his hands on that ball before that cornerback can do anything about it. Ted McMillan will be a great wide receiver for one Dak Prescott. And I do believe Ted McMillan is probably going to be the wide receiver if he falls to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are not going to pass up Ted. They're not. They're not going to pass up Ted. They're not going to do it. Jerry says, do you ever notice that the fan bases who argue hardest against Dak Prescott and push the game narrative are typically the fan bases whose teams have ringless quarterbacks? That's no accident. He said, Mahomes fans, Stafford fans, Rodgers fans don't typically push these arguments because they don't need to. Rings speak for themselves. These fans try to speak for the quarterbacks. Yes, sir. I feel you on that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I feel you on that. Yeah, again, this dude, let me see, Marcus Rowe, what he says here, McMillan reminds me of Ed McCaffrey back with Denver in the late 90s. Boy, let me tell you something, Marcus Rowe. People do not understand this dude, Christian McCaffrey's pedigree. Boy, this dude, dad was a beast. Man, poor Ed. Hey, man, this dude, dad was a beast, man. He really was. He was a beast. Let me see here. Jeremiah tried to sing it. Jeremiah tried to drink it for $200. Yes, sir. I see you. Marcus Rowe, McMillan would be the chain mover. Oh, yeah. Yeah. McMillan is I agree with it. He's a chain maker. And again, it's not that he's not going to give you explosive plays. He's a big-bodied wide receiver. You mess around and get some little bit defensive back on him, he'll catch the ball and he'll get away from it. But again, he's exactly what he is. He's a pure wide receiver. He's a pure wide receiver. And so he'll be great for Dak Prescott, I believe. McMillan would be the possession receiver alongside CD. CD would have to, you know what? And I'm going to tell you something. I think the Cowboys got big expectations for Jonathan Mingo. I think the Cowboys want Jonathan Mingo to be the bigger, better Michael Gallup. I think the Cowboys want Jonathan Mingo to be the go down the field receiver, to go up and get it. I will not be surprised Mingo and Tolbert will be sharing time. Of course, don't forget they still got Kevontae Turpin. He's a speedster, and I am not counting Paris Campbell out on this team. I believe that he'll beat out Jalen Brooks. Paris Campbell will be on this team because he's a very fast, taller wide receiver. The Cowboys are banking on him. They're banking on him to be good. Gee, can you imagine a cornerback going up against Ted? He would draw a bunch of coverage away from Lamb. And remember, Dak has to have a bigger wide receiver. When was the last time Dallas had a wide receiver over 6'2"? Boy, yeah, I agree with you. Ted McMillan would be a matchup nightmare. Because, again, it is strange when you think about the height of most cornerbacks in the league. They're not tall cornerbacks. It is astounding when you think about the average height of a cornerback in the NFL. They're not that tall. They're just not. You get a lot of these guys, man, they're playing at 5'11", some of them even 5'10", 6 feet maximum. Look at this. I figured that's what it was. Look at this. The average height of an NFL cornerback is around 5'11". I figured it was. People would be surprised. Most of these cornerbacks aren't that big. They're not that big. It says the modern passing game often sees cornerbacks facing taller, more physically imposing wide receivers, which can create mismatches. Ted McMillan is going to be a mismatch for a lot of teams because a lot of these teams are playing with small cornerbacks. They are. It's crazy because those smaller cornerbacks, sometimes they have the better ball skills. They have the better footwork. They can do so many different things. Ted McMillan will be a nightmare. He'll be a nightmare. And if Dak Prescott and him can really get on the same page, oh, man. Boy, you might see a connection out of this world. You might see a connection out of this world. For real, though. So, Ted McMillan, I will not be mad if the Cowboys get Ted McMillan at all. I will not be mad.
T. Higgins-esque. And, T. Higgins ran, I think, a 4.59 at the combine when he was coming out. Like, he wasn't a big speed guy. And honestly, usually these guys aren't really for me. I think of like Laquan Treadwell and N'Keal Harry. And like we've seen a lot of those guys who were quote unquote ball winners, but maybe didn't have the separation skills. We've seen those guys not work. But I think McMillan is a little bit different because of what you're saying. He has just this flexibility and fluidity to him in his routes at the catch point where he's just going to be those ball winning instincts really take over. So a unique playmaker who still has to get a little bit better in terms of sharpening that some of his routes, expanding the route tree. That Arizona offense kind of limited him in that area, but all the tools are there for him to be a ball winner in the NFL.
Grady Jenkins.
If Ted McMillan is there, the Cowboys are taking him, Daniel Lim. I agree with you. If Ted is there at 12, the Cowboys are turning that card in. They're turning it in fast. They're not even going to hesitate. They're turning that card in. No doubt about it. There it is, lost in translation. Smaller corners can turn on a dime. Now, my son played cornerback. And my son was like a giant out there, man, playing in high school. But the one thing about those bigger cornerbacks, because my son is like 6'1", 6'2", and he was a very muscular cornerback. The problem is with those bigger cornerbacks is that hip movement. That hip movement, lost in translation, they have to really work. When they get these wide receivers that are real shifty, boy, they have to work hard, man. They have to really work hard because of the way, they just don't have the hip movements. They can't turn on a dime. And it is imperative for these bigger cornerbacks. The footwork has to be impeccable. And the way they defend, they have to be very disciplined. Because They can't turn as fast as the small guys. They can't turn as fast. The feet may not be as quick. And because of that, you'll find that sometimes the bigger cornerbacks, they can get beat by shifty receivers. They really can. They can get beat on double moves real easy. Get beat on out routes. But where they shine is when you get maybe you get a receiver, runs a post route. Oh, they can do those. Maybe he runs a post out. Maybe he runs a deep out. Maybe he runs a deep in. You know, they're pretty good with those. But where they struggle is with those shifty, quick wide receivers who have great footwork. Them hips, man, they can move them. I'm telling you, I watched it firsthand. This is why you don't see a lot of big cornerbacks. This is why you don't see a lot of big cornerbacks. They're not twitchy enough. They're not really twitchy enough. Depending upon who they're covering, they're not twitchy enough. Small guys kill them. They do. So this is why you're watching a lot of these cornerbacks, man, in the league. They're like 5'11". You know, you might get a 6-foot one here and there, but a lot of them are small. They are. Man, Alvin Harper was a monster, wasn't he? Harper was a monster, though. He was. The tallest wide receiver Dallas had back in the day was Alvin Harper. But, man, I'm going to tell you something, boy. That boy Alvin Harper, man, he was the perfect complement. He was the perfect complement to Michael Irvin. Alvin Harper, he wound up leaving the Cowboys. He wound up leaving the Cowboys and getting his money. Yeah, he wound up leaving the Cowboys because he was really that good, man. He was really good. But only problem is, man, once he left the Cowboys, I mean, people have to understand something, man. The Cowboys, boy, I'd have never left those 90s teams. He wound up leaving, it was 95. Yeah, he wound up leaving in 95. Wound up going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 95, 96, played for the Redskins in 97, and he came back to the Cowboys, it says, in 1999. I guess he had an injury or maybe took a year off in 1998, but he came back with the Cowboys in 99, and it says he played 2 games with zeros. So, but again, yeah, I could see for sure Tet being better utilized. Yeah, better utilized than one Alvin Harper was. But Alvin Harper was great for the Cowboys. He really was. He was a great compliment. He was a great compliment to Michael Irvin. He really was. Yeah, he was a great compliment to Michael Irvin. So, I guess he kind of found out the green isn't always the grass isn't always green on the other side. He wound up going, like I said, to Tampa Bay and never won again. But again, yeah, Ted would be a great compliment to CeeDee Lamb.
Over on the fan YouTube, complimenting Dane Brugler for the Denton Ryan helmet that is on his setup behind him there. On the
I was wondering if that was Denton Ryan or Mount Union.
Could it be Mount Union? Is it Mount Union or Denton Ryan?
It is Mount Union.
Look at that.
You didn't tell me. You telling Grady Jenkins.
Oh, look at that.
See, you would know because you're playing Denton Ryan today, actually.
Yes,
that's what that is.
My kids are playing Denton Ryan today.
Dane, I got to ask you, let's talk local since we're already we're mentioning local here. What do you think of, and we'll go quarterback first, Quinn Ewers? So I have talked to various people who, some people think like, man, the traits are there, and that's a guy who I'd absolutely be willing to gamble on, or, that's a guy I would gladly take in the second round. And then there are other people I've heard from that are just like, that's an easy late day 3 pick to me. It just feels like there's a lot of variance on Ewers.
There really is. And I think you could make that case for a lot of these quarterbacks, especially in the mid rounds, the Dylan Gabriels, the Will Howards, Riley Leonards, all those guys. It's a wide range of opinions. And with Ewers, I think there's a lot of things that you can point to and say, okay, yeah, that's going to work at the next level. I mean, he's a natural ball handler. The ball comes out really quick, especially RPOs, really, really smooth in the RPO game. He's a really good curl comeback passer. He has a good feel for areas. I think the most impressive thing about him is the poise that he plays with. And you look at some of the places he's played, 2023 Alabama, 2024 Michigan, like the true road games, that's where he's at his best. He's a very calm guy. He doesn't get affected by crowd noise. In true road games at Texas, he was 11-1 as a starter. So I think that mental toughness, that poise is something that you can really look to and say, all right, that'll translate to the next level. I want to see him stay healthy. I want to see him be able to stay on the field. And, I give him credit for toughing out some of those injuries last year, but it clearly affected him. And you have to be able to play through pain and still execute and still maintain your level of being a consistent starter. And so can he do that at the next level? That's kind of the question mark. When it's all said and done, I think there's a good chance he does go on day 2 for a team that's looking for one of these quarterbacks, second round, third round. We'll see how the first round plays out. Obviously we think the Titans are drafting a quarterback at 1. What do the Saints do at 9? Could they be a Shedeur Sanders landing spot? What about Jackson Dart? What do the Steelers do at 21? And we know the Browns and the Giants there at the top of round 2 need quarterbacks. So it's just a really interesting, kind of domino effect of when these quarterbacks come off the board, and then who's still going to be looking for a quarterback once we get to day 2.
You would be surprised, or you would be stunned by how many quarterbacks made it in the first round. What's the number that would stun you?
Here's a list of stuff your car insurance company does, but is actually illegal.
Here in a moment.
1. They are not allowed to ask you for your race, age, gender, or employment status, no matter what. This is a violation of your privacy.
This entire
2,
draft can be shaken up.
They are not allowed to look up your credit history under any circumstances.
Has the Carolina
3,
Panthers taking Ted
which is the law they break the most. They are only.
Well, I think the over/under is 2.5, and I'm going to take the over on that, just because usually we see these guys go. The Kenny Pickett year was kind of the exception to the rule. We had one quarterback in the top 73. I do think this quarterback class is more similar to that quarterback class than say last year, where we had 6 in the top 12. But we could always see one of these teams, the Browns, the Giants, the Raiders, who knows, maybe trade up into the back half of round 1 to get one of these quarterbacks, because this is a good draft, but it's not a great draft. And so I think some of those teams in the late 20s, they'll be more than willing to trade out of there and pick up an extra third or whatever it may be to go back to pick 33 and still feel like they're getting a similar player they would have taken at 25. So there's a good chance we see some of those trades into the late first. And so I think we're going to see 3 quarterbacks, maybe 4 in the first round.
How do you bake into your mocks and big boards and stuff the philosophy?
There are people who are actually saying that the Dallas Cowboys could pick another quarterback in the draft. I would find it hard to believe, but man, that would be a shocker if the Cowboys win the draft and still got a quarterback.
That, like, if I don't have a quarterback, I just got to reach. I just got to take one. It's worth the risk of missing.
Right.
Like, how does that kind of impact how you stack your board?
Yeah, and that's where I try to keep the mocks and the boards separate. The mocks are what I think teams are going to do, and when I'm hearing, the board is what kind of how I see these guys and my scouting. And for me, Shedeur Sanders, I think, is 34 overall on my final top 100 board. And that's where, once we get to the late 20s, early 30s, like, that's where I would feel comfortable drafting Shedeur Sanders. I like Shedeur Sanders. I think he has a chance to be a starter in this league. I just wouldn't draft him top 5 overall. And on draft night, if the Giants end up taking him at 3rd overall, yeah, that'd be a little rich for what I would do, but I get it. I understand. There's a quarterback tax, right, where these guys get bumped up a little bit and go a little bit earlier than they should because of just the impact that they make. And so it's hard to rank quarterbacks with every other position because they're just different. The way they impact the game, the way that teams will reach on these guys, and you understand why. Because if you don't have a quarterback, you're in trouble. And so if you believe in a player, you understand why they might reach on him a little bit.
Last one for you here. We're talking with Dane Brugler here from The Athletic with his draft guide out, released today. Your 12th ranked player is Tetairoa McMillan. Your 44th ranked player is Caleb Johnson. Those are the Cowboys picks, obviously. Would you say that's pretty close to a dream scenario for the Cowboys to get out of, or who would you say 12 and 44 if the Cowboys could get that? I think they'd be sitting pretty.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, talk about what your offense looks like. You're upgrading your offense. That would do it. I like the McMillan pick in the first round. And then, in the second round, one of those running backs, whether it's Caleb Johnson from Iowa or Travion Henderson from Ohio State, or Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State, I think they will have a few options there in round 2, guys that can come in and help the run game, help in the pass game. And you think about what that will do for Dak, what that will do for CD, what that does for your entire offense. When you add 2 more threats, one in the backfield, one on the outside, I think that is an ideal scenario that helps them not only for 2024, but you think about the next 3 or 4 years where the Cowboys are kind of in this window with an established quarterback running the show.
Dane Brugler does great work for The Athletic, and he is also one of the kindest guys you'll ever meet, one of the best dudes in this business. Dane, we appreciate you, man, and everybody go get your copy of The Beast over at The Athletic.
As we used to say in the hood.
Thank you, guys. Anytime.
Straight up. Hey, straight up, man. Cowboys have an opportunity here. They can really improve this team. They really can. Let me show you something here. See, there is going to be a domino effect.
If you have to wipe yourself raw just to get clean, do this.
And let me tell you
Stuck poop is a pain in the butt. Literally. First, you have to strain on the porcelain throne for so long that eventually you get asked.
And I think the biggest shock
are you okay
that all of us may
I'm
get,
fine. And after all
this is just
that pushing and straining, maybe you
time,
manage to squeeze out a few rock-hard pellets.
I
And if you're already dealing with anal fissures, that's just
probably
a
a sure
fancy
thing at
medical
number
term for tears. It's even
I
worse.
think Cam Ward is a sure
Ouch.
thing at
But
number
wait,
one for the
the
Tennessee
work
Titans.
isn't done yet. You still need a wipe,
least I
and
say
that's
so.
no small task. It's
And the
like you
reason
have to
why I
wipe
think
yourself
he's a
raw before the
shoo-in
toilet
at
paper
number
stops
one.
showing a
Because they
thin
haven't
brown
done
line, a.k.a. the brown
I think
marker.
they were gonna
But
stand
what about
pat
wet
on this
wipes
issue
and bidets?
with,
Sorry. They
Cam
also
Ward.
fail to speed up the wiping process because some people never feel
Abdul
clean
Carter.
thanks to their stuck poop
I don't
problems.
think the Cleveland
Then,
Browns
if
are
that's
going to
not
let
enough,
Abdul Carter get
there's
past
the uncomfortable bloating,
They are salivating
painful
right
cramps, embarrassing
Abdul
gas,
Carter and Myles
and
Garrett.
the heavy feeling of never being
Cleveland
able to
Browns
fully
defense will be
empty your
exponentially
bowels.
better
It's miserable.
with Abdul
But
Carter and
pooping
Myles
doesn't
Garrett.
need to
That
feel
is
like a
imagining
chore.
Michael
I don't care how
Parsons
old or young
and
you
Myles
are,
Garrett
what
on
you
the same
eat,
squad.
how much you exercise, the amount of water you drink, or anything like that. You can
Pick
still
number 3.
experience this holy grail of poops.
This is the
as in
one that
effortless dumps
everybody is
every
going
single
to be
morning
looking
that
for.
slide right out without a trace.
Will
Want to know how?
the New
First,
York
you get your trash can
football
ready.
Giants.
Because fiber supplements, prune
Will
juice,
the New York Giants
and beans,
get Shadua Sanders?
garbage. Look, you've probably been told that fiber helps you poop,
I
and
got a
it does, but only
Shadua
when your
Sanders
gut's already running smoothly.
is
So,
praying the New York Giants
is
take
your gut running smoothly?
'Cause I'ma tell you
Nope,
something.
not if you're constipated.
Shadua
You see,
Sanders
constipation
could be the next
hits when your
Lamar Jackson.
digestive system slows down
Lamar
to a
Jackson
crawl.
don't
Your
realize.
poop loses
I
the
wonder if he
momentum
thinks
it
about it now.
actually needs to effortlessly
The best
glide through
thing
the many
this
curves and
league
turns
did
of your colon. And that's a
was
big
allow Lamar
problem.
Jackson to
Because
slide
without
down.
that momentum, your poop
It
starts
was
to
the
get
best thing
stuck.
that
It
happened
dries
to
out.
Lamar
It
Jackson.
becomes rock hard. And gradually
would
creates a
much rather
poop
be with the
pileup
Baltimore
inside your
Ravens.
colon. And when you add fiber to that
immediately get on a
mess,
competing
well,
team.
fiber adds bulk and weight to your
Then to
poop,
be
so it's kind
drafted
of like
at number
tossing
3 by
wads
the
of
New York
TP
Giants.
into a clogged toilet, blocking
But
more
this is
and
going to
more
be
of
the
your
pick-
poop's
the first
only
pick of the
exit.
night
And when your
where there
poop
is
can't
going
get
to
out,
be
your
tension.
body is forced to
Well,
reabsorb
the
that
first
stuck
pick of the day
toxic
is going to
waste
be
in your
tension.
bloodstream, creating all kinds of
do the New York
issues like
Giants
skin
take Shadua
problems, low energy, achy joints,
anybody
and even
knows
reduced performance in
but the New
bed.
York Giants.
Yes, really. There's
I don't think anybody knows. And if the New York Giants don't take Shadua Sanders, this will be the first ripple effect of the draft. It will be the first ripple effect. I mean, you think about the Cleveland Browns. They could just shock everybody and get Travis Hunter. I mean, they really could. Travis Hunter is an absolute beast. Problem with Travis Hunter, I think a lot of teams, they're going to have to figure out what are they going to do with him. You can't play both ways in this league. You cannot play both ways in this league. You can't play both. You can't play both ways. In this league, you have to pick one or the other. and you may spot play. You may spot play, but you're not going to play both sides like he did in college. He won't last 2 seasons. So I believe the first shakeup is going to be at number 3, though, with Shedeur Sanders, because the New York Giants have put themselves in position to get Ashton Jeanty. Y'all hear what I'm telling you. The New York Giants regret letting go of Saquon Barkley. And what better way to please your fan base? I got a strange feeling. The New York Giants fan base okay, you said an ad is messing up the show. Okay, what was the? I wonder if it was the ad. Y'all forgive me. I gotta work with my sound tomorrow. I think I need to do an upgrade. But Shedeur Sanders at number 3 is going to shake this whole draft up if the Cowboys don't. If the New York Giants don't get Shedeur Sanders, the whole draft is going to be shaken up. And if they mess around and get Jeanty at number 3. What in the world does that do for the rest of the draft? What does it do? Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. That would push the Raiders to probably pick up one of the other running backs. That would push the Raiders to probably get Amarion Hampton, Travion Henderson, Quinshawn Judkins. It's going to have a ripple effect. It's going to have a ripple effect. And then the question becomes, how far does Shedeur Sanders slide? How far does he slide? They're saying that the New Orleans Saints may bite on Shedeur Sanders if he makes it to them. Well, then that means that Will Johnson will have to go somewhere. And if somebody picks up Will Johnson in front of the Cowboys, either Jalen Walker or Will Campbell. And you think about Arizona. The Carolina Panthers. Who said they're going to get Tedder McMillan? They may be enamored with Matthew Golden. A lot of people say that Matthew Golden has moved up on a few of these. But again, let me tell you something. You just don't know. This draft, I'm telling you, I think there are going to be some crazy things happen in the first 11 rounds. The first 11 picks. I think there's going to be some crazy stuff. I think we may be shocked at who may be available to the Cowboys at 12. But again, I got a feeling that Ted McMillan is probably going to be available to the Cowboys at 12 because there's going to be some shaking up in the top part of this draft. And Shedeur Sanders is going to change this draft if he doesn't go to the New York Giants at 3. Who will he go to? Who will he go to? Because when you start going back, and boy, I'm telling you, the Pittsburgh Steelers could shock everybody. If Shedeur Sanders starts falling in the draft, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I really believe that he's that good, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers get him. Maybe if they see him sliding, maybe they trade up and get him. But I'm telling you again, this draft is going to shock everybody because there are going to be some things happening that I believe that's going to knock everybody's socks off. I think it is. It is. So we'll have to figure, who knows what the Cowboys do at 12? If Ted McMillan is there, the Cowboys are taking him. If Ted McMillan isn't there, I will not be surprised if the Cowboys trade back. I would not be surprised if the Cowboys trade back and they try to get as far back as they can. And as far back as they can probably go, the Cowboys could probably trade back into the second round and get Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden III. they could pop somewhere right in here. They can pop right in here in the second round. And that'll be pole position to get one of those two receivers. I would not be surprised if they pick a Mecca. I wouldn't be surprised if they pick Luther Burden III over Mecca. I would like to see a Mecca, but I wouldn't be mad if they got Luther Burden III. And then the Cowboys will pop right back up. And they will be able to get their wide receiver. Both of them in the second round. And then if they can trade that number 12, maybe they get 2 number 3s. And if the Cowboys can get 2 number 3s, the Cowboys will probably go defensive tackle. They'll probably go defensive tackle and maybe cornerback. Or defensive tackle and edge. I got a feeling the Cowboys, if they can't get Tet, if they can't get Genty, they'll trade back as far as they can or as close as they can in the second to get a Mecca or Luther Burden III. I think they're going wide receiver in the first round. I believe they're going for wide receiver in the first round. And once they go wide receiver in the first round, they will immediately pick that running back up. I think that's where they're going to go. Lost in translation. I forgot about it. You just talking about the Jets. That the Jets may get Shedeur Sanders. He better pray they don't. Quarterback killers. Quarterback killers, man. I would hate to go to the Jets. Quarterback killers. Whew. I would hate to go to the Jets. Ty Church, I've been hearing the Saints like him too. I've been hearing the Saints like him. And I'll tell you something else. He gonna put butts in them seats. They'll go crazy over Shedeur Sanders. But again, the Cowboys, if Ted is not there, man, they're gonna trade. I got a strange feeling they're gonna trade back as far back as they can. They're gonna feel out the room, kind of figuring out like who really wants Luther Burden III or Mecca Ibuka, and they're probably gonna pick one of those 2 receivers. And then they'll immediately pick that running back up, and it'll probably be Travion Henderson or Quinshon Judkins. I won't be mad at neither one. And probably of the 2, Quinshon Judkins, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think of the 2, Quinshon may be the more power back of the 2. He may be the more power back of the 2. He definitely has the least amount of miles on his body. he definitely has the least amount of miles on his body. So I could see the Cowboys getting him. Ty Church, he said that far. He said you get second and third and fourth, and next year third, G, based off the charts. Whoa, man, they can trade that first rounder, boy. They can get some draft capital from that thing. Jared said, Shedeur Sanders need to go to the Browns. Wouldn't it shock you? I wouldn't be shocked if they got him. I wouldn't be shocked. Somebody is going to make a move at the top part of that draft, and it's going to shake everything up. Translation said the Jets. I appreciate y'all rocking with me on Cowboys After Dark. We're going to do it again here this week, depending on when I can get in there. Depending on when I can get to do it again. But I'm going to try to do this again. I'm going to try to do it at least twice a week. I know some of y'all are night owls like me, so Cowboys After Dark, y'all like it. So we'll be back again. But again, I'll see y'all tomorrow if the Lord is willing. Tomorrow's Thursday. So I'll see y'all tomorrow around 4 o'clock. I might even slip in a lunchtime show just to get warmed up. But again, I appreciate y'all rocking with me this late night. I'll see y'all again tomorrow around 4:30 p.m. I'm pretty sure there'll be more news dropping about the Dallas Cowboys. So again, until then, appreciate y'all rocking with me. Y'all hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.